Good morning, everyone. Mr. President, the time is now 9:03 a.m., and you can call the meeting to order.
Great. Thank you so much, Mr. Clerk. Good morning, colleagues, staff, members of the public. It is about 9:03 a.m. on August 12th, 2025, and we're calling this regular meeting of the San Mateo County Board of Supervisors to order. Let's start with having the clerk of the board provide information on how the public can participate in this meeting.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members of the public, live interpretation of this entire meeting will be provided in Spanish. To access live interpretation services in Zoom via laptop or computer, please click the interpretation globe icon and then select the Spanish language. If you're using smartphone or tablet, please locate the three-dot menu, select interpretation, and then select the Spanish language. At this time, I would like my colleague, Victor Hernandez, to provide these instructions in Spanish.
Thank you so much, Suki. Good morning, President Canepa and honorable supervisors, Ms. Rodriguez, Mr. Niblin, all county staff, members of the public, Victor Hernandez, Spanish interpreter. Les queremos dejar saber a todos ustedes, miembros del público, que se les proporcionará interpretación en vivo de toda esta reunión en lo que es en español. Para poder acceder del servicio de interpretación en vivo por Zoom, ya sea con una computadora o una portátil, usted tendrá que hacer clic en lo que es un icono del globo terráqueo, que es un mundo que aparecerá al fondo de su pantalla, y seleccione el idioma español. Si usted está utilizando lo que es un teléfono inteligente, una tableta, busque lo que es el menú de 3 puntos, seleccione la interpretación y luego seleccione el idioma español, y por último usted tendrá que hacer clic en lo que dice done o listo. Muchas gracias. Thank you.
Muchas gracias. Thank you for those instructions. Now we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I have the roll call, please?
Sure. Supervisor Spear?
Here.
Thank you. Supervisor Corzo?
Here.
Thank you. Supervisor Mueller?
Here.
Thank you. Supervisor Gaucher?
Here.
Thank you. And President Canepa?
Here.
Thank you. All present.
Great. Thank you very much. We'll now move to honoring the life of and board member remarks. Do any supervisors have comments or things to share for honoring the life of? Supervisor Mueller.
I do, and after we go around on honoring the life of, I'd like to go back to board member remarks.
Great.
But first, this morning, colleagues, I'd like to take a moment to remember John Tenenes, a native of Northampton and residing in Palo Alto. John passed away after a brief illness on August 4th, 2025. He was the son of Jane Sears and John Tenenes. He graduated from Northampton High School in 1975 and Wentworth Institute of Technology in Boston in 1979, majoring in architectural engineering. In 1982, he drove his prized Alfa Romeo from Boston, settling in the San Francisco Bay Area. He spent most of his life and career working in real estate for tech companies here in Silicon Valley. The last 14 years before his retirement, he served as the vice president of global real estate for Facebook, which became Meta. I met John back in 2010, and the impact, it's to talk about who he was. John really affected the philosophy of Facebook and the way that they interacted with the community. In COVID, when there was a problem, when kids didn't have Wi-Fi, phone call to John, they figured out a way to get everyone Wi-Fi. When I first became mayor in Menlo Park in 2012, we had a dilapidated old annex that they were trying to do policing out of, and it was an embarrassment to the city. And with John's partnership and leadership, we built a new police station and community service center for the community. The second time I served as mayor, I was blown away when John stepped forward with the offer to build an entire community service center to redo a whole tens of $million center for the community. He always was trying to figure out ways to help the community, not just focused on real estate. And he was an incredible friend to many in the city, and I know to East Palo Alto as well. I know Supervisor Gaucher has many wonderful things to share. He had just retired when he was struck down by Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease. which was just a tremendous tragedy. He's survived by his wife, Becky, his 2 children, and their spouses, and their new grandson.
Thank you so much. Supervisor Spear.
It's with a very heavy heart that I ask that we adjourn in the memory of Yina Ramos Bello, who was 30 years old. She tragically lost her life in a car accident in San Mateo when a SUV ran a red light and struck the vehicle. Her 2 sons were in the vehicle. They were returning from a soccer game, Mateus 6 and Mateo 5. It was a profound loss to the family, and I think to our community, to lose a young mother. The father, Alejandro Ladano Rojas, lives in South San Francisco with the 2 boys. Our hearts go out to them. There is a GoFundMe page for their well-being, and I also want to recognize the extraordinary job that the police officers did in San Mateo in dealing with this tragedy. We were hit again on Friday by yet another tragedy in Burlingame, but I will actually adjourn in that family's memory at another board meeting.
Great. Thank you very much, Supervisor Spear. Vice President Corso.
Thank you. I do want to also offer condolences to both families that Supervisor Spear just mentioned. While one of those tragedies occurred in the city of San Mateo, the other did have someone involved that was a resident of the city of San Mateo. And so I think it's just important that we remember that when we're in our cars that fatalities do happen, and cars are a big responsibility. So I just want to encourage everyone to slow down, be cautious, and take a moment to really honor the lives of those that were lost in automobile accidents. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Today I'd like to honor the life of Mark Stephen Fabry, lovingly known to many as Fab, who passed away peacefully at his home on July 15, 2025, at the age of 72. Born and raised in San Francisco, Mark was a proud and lifelong San Franciscan. His deep love for the city shaped his life, his career, and his spirit. Mark's vibrant presence touched countless lives throughout his work, his friendships, and especially his coaching. A forever life of the party, Mark owned and operated establishments across the Bay Area, including the Bayside in San Francisco, the Harbor in Belmont, and Fab's in San Francisco. He later transitioned to a second career that reflected his generous heart, working in development for several Catholic schools and nonprofit organizations, including my alma mater, Sacred Heart Cathedral Prep. Go Irish. It was on this football field where Mark found his true calling. A passionate coach for over 50 years, he began his coaching journey at just 18 years old with Pal Pop Warner football, the foundation of his lifelong love for coaching. Over the decades, he coached at Sacred Heart Cathedral, Archbishop Reardon, Sequoia High School, and for the past 10 years at Sacred Heart Prep in Atherton. He also coached briefly for the Outlaws, an adult league football team, in the early 1990s. He was proud to have been part of so many teams and have guided generations of players over the years. Mark lived and breathed the game, but more than that, he cared deeply for every player he mentored. Mark's family was the center of his world. He is survived by his loving partner, Maureen Horan, his daughters, Amy, Amanda, and Elisa, and his treasured granddaughters, Delilah, Scarlett, and Monroe. With that, we'll go back to Supervisor Mueller.
Thank you, President Canepa. So today, actually, I can say for both Supervisor Spear and myself, we're requesting a study session on a future agenda to go ahead and look at the regional transit measure that's being proposed, and specifically to go ahead and look at the areas that are focused on what the deal is, the financial deal with is return to source that takes place. It's compared to what San Mateo County is getting as compared to what other counties are getting. And also, we'd like to look at what controls are being put in place with respect to that funding. I'm going to go ahead and let Supervisor Spear join me in this request.
Thank you, Supervisor. We passed on the Samtrans board last Wednesday a support for SB 63, which provides for an opt-in by both San Mateo County and Santa Clara County to join in this half-cent sales tax, which will be on the ballot in 2026. It is a travesty. It is taxation without representation. It's taxation without accountability. And our only hope is that our state assemblywoman, Diane Pappin, will have the ability to get some control returned to San Mateo County on how that money is spent. Right now, 93% of all the sales tax that will be generated in San Mateo County, 93% of all of the sales tax actually generated in Santa Clara County will be controlled by Santa Clara County. It is the other opt-in county. In San Mateo County, only 31% of the sales tax dollars will be under the control of San Mateo County. It is a bad deal for the taxpayers, and everyone in San Mateo County is a taxpayer of sales tax. So I urge us to have a complete and thorough hearing about this, and I think we should do everything in our power to make sure it fails, not just here in San Mateo County, but in the system, because if San Mateo County votes it down and a majority of the residents in the other counties, the other 4 counties, vote in favor of it, that sales tax will be imposed in San Mateo County anyway.
So, Supervisor Cameron, just to finish, so the purpose of the study session and also as the discussion is to go ahead and let this board decide whether or not it wants to endorse the measure. But it also allows us to have the ability to have a discussion about these items at a chance when the legislation is still being debated and negotiated. And it's our hope, my hope, that the author is hearing us today and taking the fact that we're putting this study session forward to have this discussion, that there'll be a possible discussion of whether or not we endorse it or not, that they will strive to strike a better deal for San Mateo County. And I know that there are passionate feelings on this board that may be of difference of opinion. I respect that. I just want to have that discussion in an open hearing for the public to understand it. And I want the author to understand we're going to have that discussion.
Great, thank you very much. Both supervisors are clearly aware that through Samtrans, which Supervisor Spear and I sit on, and through the Transportation Authority, for many of you in the public who don't know, this is both of these bodies are representative, not only supervisors, but mostly city representatives. And so those representatives represent the North, they represent Central, they represent the South. And so essentially, in my understanding of this, is that the legislation, for many of you who don't know, it's SB 63. And so what that is essentially is there's 2 triggers. The first is an action where you're able to opt in. And so it includes Santa Clara County, the opt-in counties would be San Mateo County, Santa Clara County, and then you have Alameda County, you have San Francisco County, and you have Contra Costa County. And so what those boards decided to do is they decided to move forward with supporting the regional measure. CCAG, which is another board, they decided to opt in. And so my concern is, and I'm for, I could support an informational item, and I'll be working through our county attorney through this and understanding it. But the action that this board would take would be ceremonial in nature. It would have to be, it's not an action of actually opting in. So I want the public to know that. That's already been done through Samtrans. What it would have to be is, and I think, I'll talk to Supervisor Mueller and Supervisor Spear about this. What it would be would probably be something to support it or not support it. But the action taken by the board has no impact in actually opting in to the measure, and that's got to be clarified. So I look forward to seeing what we can do. I'll be working with County Council. I do have hesitancy on making this a potential action item. I do think having an informational item is the most prudent way to move forward. Obviously, this board, with the exception of one member, has already in some form or the other voted on this. And so,
True.
but through CCAG. So each member, with the exception of you, Supervisor Mueller, have not voted on this item. And so we'll take it up at the appropriate time, and I'll work through our county council. And I hope that's fine with you. And Supervisor Corzo, before I get to you, I'm sorry. See your hand. Vice President Corzo, I know you have some comments.
Thank you. Yes, I do. I do want to clarify as well for the public that the votes to opt in happened on 2 of our county's transit boards, and these boards are made up of people that have served on this board and deeply understand what's at stake here. And the board to opt in was not close. I believe it was 8-1, and so I think it's very. I don't think it's appropriate for us to try to undo what other leaders in our community have already decided on. I do think it's fine to continue to have conversations and better understand, but I also think it's important that we do that with facts. The other transit board elected officials deeply understand what's at stake. We have return to source funding that's been written into SB 63. It would help our county resolve the fiscal cliff that potentially Caltrain would be seeing. It would give us additional money to invest and improve local transit as well. And more so than the possibility of us renewing our own county sales tax with Measure A and Measure W. So I think it's really important that we not try to mislead people and that we are factual in what we're sharing. Obviously, the recommendations from the employees of those transit organizations recommended that we opt in. They would not do that for no reason. They are the experts. I also think that, frankly, it's really concerning to me that we are continuing to try to just move backwards when it's taken a lot of negotiation with the authors of this bill to get it to the place that it is. It's one that's regionally supported, and the other accountability measures that were proposed so very late in the game and were not supported by the majority of our transit electeds, and I think we need to respect the decisions. The decision has been made. Our assembly member will continue to negotiate accountability measures, as can we as elected officials, but we have to do that productively and effectively. So I think it's really important that if we do have an informational session, again, that it be very clear that these decisions have been made and they need to be respected. Also want to name that for our residents, 94% of Samtrans riders are low income. And if we are not able to improve services for them, that would be a travesty. I also think that we need to recognize that we can have accountability without trying to ask for special privileges that nobody else has to do. If another county had said we want the ability to withhold funds at our own, whenever we want, we would not find that to be fiscally prudent for not only ourselves, but all of the transit agencies impacted. So with that, I do want to make it very clear that I don't think it's a good practice to try to undo decisions that have already been made with good reason and pretty, unequivocally with an 8-1 vote. Thank you.
So just to clarify, and I respect,
Mr. President, I would note this is not an agendized item.
right. So
and
and
so
I'm not gonna. I just want to clarify my agenda item request based on comments that were made, and so I want to make very clear, we're not asking to undo the decision. The decision's been made. What we're asking for is a study session to go ahead and discuss the terms that are in that deal. As you indicated, our assembly member is still negotiating. I think having that will put her into the best position negotiation. My understanding is that at those boards, specifically at the Sam Trans boards, there was a deep discussion about encouragement of that negotiation. And with all due respect, I respect you so much, Supervisor Corzo, the decision hasn't been made. The voters will make that decision. So I appreciate, and just to be clear, the request was for a study session that two supervisors have made. I appreciate it. Supervisor Campbell will meet with you after the meeting to go ahead and work on that.
So look, I want to be very clear to the public. I will grant your request. I will do that. But I want to make sure that I'm very, very clear. And you agree with this. You referenced it, that it will be a study session. I'm not interested, and I want to get this out, I'm not interested in an action item. I think an action item without teeth it's just ceremonial, and I'm not interested in that, but I think moving forward through our county attorney, we will do something informational. So with that,
So I'm willing, if Supervisor Spear is willing, to put over the request for the vote on the endorsement until we have the study session, and then we can decide as a board whether or not we want a follow-up action item.
Yes,
Supervisor Spear.
I would agree with that. Let me also just point out that it is the voters, as Supervisor Mueller said, who are going to make the decision. Unfortunately, the way this bill is drafted, their decision is irrelevant if a majority of the residents in the other areas vote for it. And let's be clear, the other counties, Contra Costa, Alameda, San Francisco, all have board membership on the BART board. San Mateo County and Santa Clara County do not. And we have no control over the fact that they are in a situation where they cannot dig themselves out of their fiscal cliff. But
Supervisor
we can have
Spear,
that discussion. We can have that
Supervisor
discussion.
Spear, let me interrupt. I think through our county attorney, this conversation has gone on quite a long time. Are we okay in continuing this conversation? I just want to make sure that we don't find ourselves in legal peril.
I'm not believing that we have legal peril as we sit right now. It's just, again, it's not an agendized item. And this is a portion of the agenda where board members are authorized to request matters such as have been requested. And it would be my advice that we truncate the conversation at this point, though, because I think that we've...
So, Supervisor Spear, why don't you continue? Go ahead.
Well, I'm happy to endorse a study session, and at that study session, allow the public to hear the ramifications of this potential bill.
All right, thank you. Supervisor Gaucher.
I was just going to say, I sat on CCAG, and we did vote to move this forward. This is a bill that the residents or the voters are going to vote on. I do agree that it would not be harmful to hear more about this bill, because I'd like to support Assemblymember Pappin's the ROC that she is putting forth that would help our county. We do understand that this has moved forward, though.
All right. Yeah, go ahead. Supervisor Corzo.
Thank you. I'm going to not say anything additional, but please come to the study session. I wanted to make a statement about Planned Parenthood and the fact that Planned Parenthood Marmonte has had to close 5 health centers across California, including 2 in our county. I think this is a really important issue for us as a board to pay attention to and to be involved with. Planned Parenthood is a lifeline to many residents. I was a Planned Parenthood client when I was a teenager, and the services that they offer are really essential in our community. So I do have great concerns for what our residents will have now that 2 of the centers have closed in our county. And I also want to recognize that Supervisor Pine had done a lot of work to, and Supervisor Slocum, to really lift up reproductive rights before they left our board. And one of those actions was adopting the Action Plan for Women and Children. And this plan includes a resolution to address gaps in funding, access to abortion, gender-affirming care, and other critical health services. And so with this new reality before us, I think it's time for us to have a discussion about that so that we can make decisions to, fill some gaps that have been potentially created in our community. And I do want to say that I'm grateful to Planned Parenthood Marmonte for all of the years of service that they've offered our community. And I know that they did not make those decisions lightly to close centers, but we do have the responsibility to make sure that our residents have every service that they need. And so I think we need to continue to advocate for every person's right to feel safe and to have access to affordable and affirming health care. And I would request that we see this item as an issue of concern for this board. This is something that directly affects our residents and is important for us. Thank you.
Through the chair.
Yes, Supervisor Gaucher.
Also, I'd like to have a study session to really study the impacts of the HR 1 bill and how the impacts that it's going to have on the county. I think a lot of our residents are going to be impacted by this, but we need to have a better understanding of what that is going to be and how we're going to be prepared.
All right. Through our county attorney's office, I'm sure you captured all of the comments, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. That'll bring us to public comment. This is the portion of the agenda set aside for members of the public to comment on matters that are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the Board of Supervisors, but that are not on the agenda for today's meeting. For matters that are listed on the consent agenda and for matters that are set for closed session, public comment will be limited to 1 minute. Do we have the Corpus team here?
We
Why don't
do.
you come up, Mr. Perez?
Mr. President, how much time would you like to allocate?
How many attorneys do you have on your team?
We have 4 of us here, Mr. President. You know all of them, Tom, Wilson, and Mariah.
All right.
And Sheriff Corpus is here, and I will be the only one speaking.
Okay. Why don't we give Mr. Perez 5 minutes?
Sir, 5 minutes will not do justice to this moment, and
Okay.
I would respectfully request 15 minutes because this issue.
Tom, why don't we do this? Why don't we meet in the middle? I'll give you 10 minutes. That's fair. That's fair. Okay? Why don't you go ahead?
Yeah, you can have a seat. Good morning. My name is Tom Perez. I'm a partner at the law firm of Mayor Brown, and I proudly represent Mayor Corpus in this matter. We're here to set the record straight. And Sheriff Corpus, that's our next job. I also want to say a special hello to Congresswoman Spear. You'll always be Congresswoman Spear. Thank you for your leadership on so many issues, especially involving women over the course of your distinguished career. I'm here to ask, I sent a letter last week, and I'm here to make a specific request. And it's a request born out of fairness, and a request so that the community can have a voice. And the request is that the civil grand jury proceeding, which would give a community a voice in this matter, proceed first. And the reason for that is so that the community can weigh in. The community made an overwhelming choice in 2022. And now in 2026, 2025, you are trying to undo that, potentially. And so that is my ask. By way of background, I've spent the majority of my career as a prosecutor at the Justice Department, working on cases of police reform, working with police departments that had challenges. I've done a deep dive in this department, and if we had the time, I would give you a fuller investment. And I hope that you will give me the time, because 10 minutes, frankly, doesn't do justice to the year and a half of incorrect, false statements about Sheriff Corpus. It really doesn't. But you know what? Here's what I learned. As someone who's done police misconduct and police reform cases, whether it's Los Angeles, whether it's Seattle, whether it's Portland, whether it's Albuquerque, whether it's Maricopa County. You ever heard of Joe Arpaio? I was the guy who prosecuted Joe Arpaio. the sheriff, former sheriff there. And what I learned in all of these cases, and this is no different, culture was what we were trying to address. Those departments had culture problems, and they were deeply rooted. And what I've learned through the course of my experience, and I think I've done more cases at the Justice Department than just about anyone, and what I learned in the course of that experience was that so many cases involved issues of women who were mistreated and communities of color. And when you look at the history of what Sheriff Corpus had to endure, she is a poster child for that. When she first entered the department, I want to give you some cues about the culture that she walked into and has thrived in, notwithstanding these challenges. She walks in her first day in the job, or one of her first days. How you doing? She's asked by somebody, you look like you should be barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen. That's one of her colleagues. That's what they say to her. Someone else, a short time later, says, hey, I saw you at the 7-Eleven. No, she was actually back at the station working. What do you mean you saw me at the 7-Eleven? Oh, you were on the cover of Low Rider magazine. They put sugar next to her locker when she left. And she would come back and there would be ants at her locker going after it. They'd scratch out her name. Another officer, when he was in East Palo Alto, would tell her, you know, I really miss the days when we could hog-tie niggers and beat the shit out of wetbacks. I apologize for using this language, but I think it's important not to sanitize this language because this is what she went through. And notwithstanding that, she rose through the ranks. Look at her reviews throughout her career. Until 2022, when she was running for sheriff, her reviews were excellent because she did an excellent job. She served the community, and she continued to encounter so many challenges. And she decided to run because she was sick and tired of the culture in the county, the culture in the sheriff's office, the culture that tolerates brothels, the culture that turns a blind eye on too many community members. And that's what the 2022 election was about. It was about, do we stay with the stale policies of the past, or do we enter the world of 21st century policing, where everybody gets a fair shake? That's exactly what she did, and the voters spoke loudly and clearly. I will tell you this, if I were heading the Civil Rights Division in 2017 and 2018, and I knew then what I know now, I would have initiated a pattern and practice investigation of the San Mateo Sheriff's Department, because you had some deep-seated and deep-rooted problems. And 2022 was about what were you going to do about it. The voters spoke very clearly, and in the aftermath, there are clearly people who have issues with what the voters did. And that's why we're here today, because the effort to remove her has been an effort full of false statements. And the one that just is remarkable to me is, I'm looking here. This is the executive summary of the Cordell report. It says, despite their denials, there is factual evidence that Sheriff Corpus and Victor Allende have a personal relationship beyond mere friendship. In fact, the evidence establishes that they have had an intimate relationship. That is patently false, and this will be an exhibit in the defamation case, I guarantee you, because that is provably wrong. We have to prove a negative. We will, because the facts are the facts. Oh, they went to Hawaii. Well, she went to Hawaii with her son, and you probably know her son has a severe form of autism. He's 5'10", he weighs 265 pounds. And you know what? When she travels, she needs help. And she went there because her siblings were going to come there in a few days. And they did. So if you're having an illicit relationship, do you go with all of your family and your daughter and your son so that they can meet your paramour? But this is what was put in the Cordell report. And the reason you did another report is because the Cordell report isn't worth the paper it's written on. But unfortunately, in the 4-month run-up to your election, you had this on your website. And if I didn't know anything about anything, and I read this, I would have voted for Initiative A. And so That is where we find ourselves here, folks. And we are here to defend her vigorously, and we will bring the truth forward. We will prove the negatives. I've had a couple friends who've had other friends who've been in marital situations. And what I can say is this: if someone's having an affair with someone else, and then the three of them, the wife, the husband, and the person who was having the affair, are getting together and are friends, I've never seen that one. And you're alleging, and the Cordell report is pretty unequivocal, that they had an affair. Well, that's really interesting that the three of them are friends. Kind of odd, and you should put your common sense to bear. But you know what, folks? There is a solution to this, because you have to be honest. There's a cloud over the Initiative A proceeding. It's a real cloud. And you know what? I call your attention to 2016, because in 2016, there was a similar question presented. The sheriff retired, I believe, for health reasons. And the question presented is, are you just going to effectively coronate the undersheriff, or should you do something else? And you know what? There was a letter written to the Board of Supervisors by two members of Congress, Congresswoman Eshoo, and Congresswoman Spear. And here's what you said. For a long period of time, there have been rumors that Sheriff Monks would retire early and pave the way for the undersheriff to take this position. Whether these rumors are true or not, this has been a perception. We believe our mutual constituents support a decision-making process that is absent a perception of a preordained outcome. That is what you sent, Congresswoman Spear, and I would respectfully submit that this moment is a first cousin. And the reason I am asking for the community to be engaged is because I've spent time with the community. They are so appreciative of what she did in the aftermath of that horrific mass shooting that took place not 3 weeks after she took office. I've spoken to folks in Half Moon Bay. My brother Robert is here. He used to have a medical practice in Half Moon Bay. That is a wonderful community. And she was there day in and day out. I've heard statements that there's a public safety challenge as a result of this crisis. Well, look at the crime data, folks. Property crimes are down. Violent crimes are down. And let me give you the data, because we want to make data-informed decisions, because that is the reality of where we're at. We know in 2024 alone, violent crime went down 14%. Property crimes went down 15%. And you know what else she did? You had a massive vacancy crisis when she got here. And you know what? You have done what very few other law enforcement departments have been able to do. Hire good folks who are qualified, folks who reflect the community. You've now got 22% of your recent hires are women. Why? Because the sheriff has made those investments. 10 years ago, she started a pipeline program. She started it for women only because she didn't have the support.
Mr. Perez, can you
wrap up? I will wrap up, sir. Thank you. Because she didn't have that support and she wanted to give it to others. And so now, thanks to her leadership and the aggressive recruiting, 260 some odd people have been hired since she has come on. That is a big deal because you have public safety challenges when you have vacancies. And so she is doing this. And so that is why I say to you, and we will have more to say about this here and elsewhere, because we recognize that we have to prove a negative. But I would submit to you, and this is the question the community's asked me, why don't we have a voice in whether or not she stays on board? The civil grand jury process is that voice.
If we can wrap it
and
up
that
real quick.
is the reality. I'll leave you with what the judge said in the federal case just last week. Quote, I agree that her authority has already been undermined. Her authority has already been undermined by what's happened so far.
Mr.
Now,
Perez.
the judge
Mr. Perez,
will do. We will
respectfully,
come back to him.
respectfully,
Yes, I
we're
will wrap up.
we're at 11 minutes and 44 seconds. If we can do it at the 12-minute mark, that'd be great.
Okay. Well, I hope that we can. I hope that I was a prosecutor, as I mentioned, and the most important thing you have to have as a prosecutor is humility. To ask the question, maybe my assumptions were wrong, because I'll tell you, as the play Hamilton says, history has its eyes on us. You made history in 2022. I respectfully submit that if we don't correct this, you're going to make a history that will not be a proud history for this very, very fine county. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Perez. With that, through the clerk, do we have additional public comment?
Yes, we do, Mr. President. I have 17 more speakers from chambers. There were several comments that are speaking on item number 2, so please hold off if you're speaking on item number 2 until that item comes up. So,
Through the clerk, I just want to make sure we do have item 2, which is the Inspector General independent oversight of the sheriff. There may be speakers who might be speaking in public comment for that. Can you just please kind of clarify?
Right, correct. So some of the speaker slips do mention regular public comment, but if you're speaking under regular public comment and you didn't send me your speaker slip, please just raise your hand or fill out another one and just hand it to me, and then I'll call you.
So if you're speaking on item 2, what I'd request, and it's been a board practice, is to speak to that item, not during public comment. And so with that, why don't we take public comment in the chambers, and then we'll take it virtually.
Thank you, Mr. President. So 17 speakers. I'll start off with Sandy, followed by Rhett, R-H-E-T-T. And once again, we have 1 minute per person.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Buenos dias, Board of Supervisors. Thank you for giving us this time to speak with you and for also being public servants for the people, having taken your oaths of office to uphold and defend our constitutions, both the state and the federal. We are coming to you this morning in peace as we the people to give you further notice and instruction so that you and your agents may provide due care regarding the matter of you as a board overstepping your bounds in removing a duly appointed sheriff. This matter was brought to your attention on July the 15th when you received electronic communications from We the People that included a lawful notice. In addition, you received a remote public comment about this matter. What corrective actions have you taken to resolve this instance of maladministration? My colleagues will continue.
Thank you. Next speaker is Rhett, followed by Wendy.
Thank you, Board of Supervisors. I will continue with what Sandy had to say. Are you also aware that the provisions of the California
Could you speak into the mic?
Constitution are mandatory and prohibitory? Do you acknowledge that the public servants must obey the law and have no authority to violate state or federal constitutions? Are you aware that there is no immunity for official acts? What article and section of the California Constitution gives the County Board of Supervisors the authority to remove a sheriff from office? Do you understand that only the people have the authority to remove elected officials through the constitutional recall process? Can you provide under oath and penalty of perjury proof you have the constitutional authority to take such actions? When are you going to publicly apologize for voting? And this issue was brought to you again on the 15th of July. I would like to thank you very much for your time.
Hi, my name is Wendy Huang, one of the people, the sovereign. My pronoun is HRH, Her Royal Highness. The main object of government is the protection and preservation of personal rights, private property, and public liberties, and upholding the law of God. It's one nation under God, or one nation going under. Individual liberties are antecedent to all government. California Constitution, Article 1, Section 1, Declaration of Inherent Rights. All people are by nature free and independent, and have inalienable rights. Among these are enjoying and defending life and liberty, acquiring, possessing, and protecting property, and pursuing and obtaining safety, happiness, and privacy. It would take courage for the supervisors to truly uphold your oath of office to defend and support California and U.S. Constitution. Thank you.
All right, next speaker.
Thank you. Next speaker is Todd, followed by Debbie.
Well, this is my message. As one of the people seen in California State Constitution, it is the duty as a public servant to protect the inalienable rights as stated in Article 1, Section 1. You are protected with immunity for official acts. Unofficial acts are not. You are warring against the people. You have been served noticed both in packets by us with notices and affidavits. You are our servants. We are asking you to perform to the level in which we have instructed you. Currently, you are not. You are warring against we the people. All political power is inherent in the people by decree of God. Thus, none can exist except it be derived from them. Article 1, Section 15, persons may not be deprived of life, liberty, property without due process. You have not given the sheriff due process. You don't even follow the Constitution, the California Constitution. You have an authority to an obligation for we the people to follow the guidelines of our constitutions. Anything repugnant against anything written legislatively is not, it's not enacted. You cannot enact it. The other thing is that you guys are legislating from an executive position. You're not supposed to do that. You're even doing it today on your message today. You're talking about speed limit changes. You're not supposed to legislate from that position, you guys. You're executives.
All right, I've given you
I
30
understand
seconds
that,
more.
and I
If you
appreciate
can
it.
wrap
So
up.
the right of the people to be secure in their persons against unreasonable actions and searches, please follow the constitutional guidelines. Read your packets, because they do have, remember you mentioned teeth? It has teeth in it, and we are going to go after it. So I really appreciate the time.
Okay, our next speaker is Debbie, followed by Victoria Magbelang.
Hey, I'm Debbie, and I appreciate the time you're giving us today. I just want to let you know that I'm very troubled by our government and the upheaval for the last 8 years. And I prayed about it, and I heard Spirit say, the only way we're going to get back to having a nation that's healthy is to uphold the rule of law. So we started studying the 51 constitutions, and we realized that our rights are in Article 1 of all the 50 states. And we realized that we the people are the ones that created this government. We the people are not under government. We get our rights from God, not the statutes, not the legislative. So now we're on a mission to say, oh, what does the Constitution say? I went to the bank and I said, hey, have you read the California Constitution? And he said, does California have a Constitution? So I'm very into reading it, and it says the the attorney general will supervise the sheriffs. Now, I expect you are my servant. I am one of the people, but I represent the Constitution, which represents all of us. Uphold the Constitution. The only way you can remove this sheriff is by an election process. Not you. You're not in charge of the sheriff. And I'm telling you this from a place of authority, because we the people have authority over the Constitution.
If you
and
can
the
wrap up, we're
Constitution
about
has
30
authority
seconds
over
over.
you.
Yeah.
And this is given in the peace and love of Christ, that you may do care to those who have all political power, we the people. Thank you, David.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next speaker is Victoria Magbelang, speaking on consent item number 26.
Good morning, Supervisors. Excuse me. I'm Victoria McBelong, Chair of the San Mateo County Arts Commission, and I'm honored to represent Board President Canepa's District 5. I'm happy to be here today to welcome Anna Westendorf as a new commissioner and to celebrate the reappointment of Farah Yasmin Sheikh, both from District 4. I also want to express deep gratitude to outgoing Commissioner Jeannie Heisey for her many years of dedicated and inspiring service, and to our San Mateo County Poet Laureate Antonio Lopez for sharing his beautiful words with us. Right now, our commission is preparing to launch a countywide survey of arts organizations in every district. The goal is simple: to listen, to understand their needs, and to explore how San Mateo County can best support them. You'll be hearing from your district commissioners soon to arrange a brief meeting so we can make sure your input is part of this important work. I'd like to extend a warm invitation to all supervisors and to everyone else here in person or tuning in remotely to join us for the September Arts and Culture Fest. In partnership with the San Mateo Area Chamber of Commerce, we'll be hosting an afternoon of poetry, music, dance, visual art, and community on Sunday, September 28th from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. in downtown San Mateo. It's going to be a joyful celebration. We hope to see you all there, and please help us spread the word. Thank you.
You know, Victoria, I really want to thank you and the Art Commission. I want to thank you for your leadership, Amy, Ms. Grimes. For many of you, if you go into our sort of foyer area, lobby area, our Art Commission has put together some really incredible pieces, and I'm just really pleased and happy about the direction the commission has gone. So, Amy, can you stand up? She's very shy. Thank you. Can we give Amy a round of applause and her team? Thank you, Victoria. I really appreciate all the work you do. You work extremely hard, and it doesn't go unnoticed. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Next speaker.
Thank you. 13 more speakers. Next one is Rebecca Gefford, followed by Alan Moss.
Hi, thank you so much for your time. My name is Rebecca, and I want to talk about, I was prepared for 2 minutes, so I'm going to try to keep this down to 1 minute. I just wanted to say how much San Mateo blows. And by that, I mean literally. San Mateo County, so I'm one of the co-founders of Board Sports. So we are windsurfing, kiteboarding, paddleboarding, wingboarding shop in San Mateo County parks.
Yeah.
San Mateo County Park, Coyote Point Park is a hidden jewel. It is a superpower. We were talking earlier about Google. Sergey Brin and Larry Page are users of that park. They are windsurfers. And I just wanted to say that we are in the process of an RFP this year, but we've been supporting that park for 18 years as a business, as Board Sports. I'd like to invite you all down to come join us and see what the community does there. We are the power users of that park. And in the RFP process, we are going to reapply. But I just wanted to represent all the wind users there and say that we would love to be there and continue to be there. And we would love everyone to come down and understand the use of the park and how integral that community is in making that park work. And the hundreds of thousands of dollars also that have gone into the park from the wind sports community itself. So pardon my pun, and thank you for your time.
That was a memorable public comment. Thank you. Next speaker.
Thank you, Alan Moss, followed by Mariah Cooks.
Good morning, supervisors, and thank you for this opportunity. I've driven an hour to speak the 60 seconds that I'm allotted. I'm from Seal Cove and Moss Beach.
Could you speak into the mic, sir? Mr. Moss, speak into the mic directly. Thank you.
Sorry. I came here today to point out I haven't been here for 60 days. In those 60 days, essentially nothing has happened. 3 things. The first thing that's happened is that a junior member of Public Works has come out and attempted to measure movement on painted marks on 2 streets a couple of times. The second thing that's happened is that you've red tagged once again a 91-year-old infirm housebound woman. And the third thing you've done is have 3 staff members tape this notice to everyone's mailbox to say, here's all the public information, everything the county is doing. There's nothing new on this website since this has been posted. Nothing. Just please, 10 more seconds.
You can continue. Go ahead.
Into this vacuum has stepped concerned homeowners that are lawyering up because of the vacuum and hiring experts. And one of the things those experts have emphasized is a lot of the trouble there is because there is no drainage that has ever been provided by the county to the area. And all the rain we've had has affected the slippage. And I'm coming here today to urge the Department of Public Works to do something about drainage before the rains start, because nothing has been done and it will just get worse. Thank you.
Supervisor Mueller.
Yeah, so just as you know, as we shared at the public meeting that happened 60 days ago, there was a consultant hired to go out and look at this area and perform the geological survey. I just had conversation yesterday with staff that we're going to be notifying the public of the follow-up meeting that we promised where all of that information can be presented. So you beat me by just a little bit, but it is happening and the work is done.
Thank you. I didn't mean to try to beat you at all.
No problem.
And I appreciate
I
everything.
I understand the community's concern.
Supervisor, I just note that we were promised the geotech updated survey
I hear you.
by the end of July.
Okay.
And here we are.
So let me thank you for your public comments, and thank you, Supervisor Mueller, with the update. Supervisor Mueller, if you could just keep, or I don't know, it's through staff, through the county executive's office. We've had this gentleman travel 60 minutes. If there's a way in which you can kind of keep the board apprised of what's going on.
So professional staff has been doing that, and frankly, I'm sorry you drove. If you called our office, I would have just told you. We have the geotechnical report. I think there was a little confusion. It would be completed by the end of July. We're having the follow-up meeting to go ahead and share it now with the public. But I understand the community's concern. We're working real hard on it.
It's all fine. That's good. Thank you very
Great.
much.
Thank you. And thank you for your comment. It looks like we have a solution, and if we can, and I don't know if it's just supervisors being apprised, but I'd like to talk to the county executive's office with an update on what's going on out there. With that, we'll take another public comment.
Thank you. Deborah Woolley? Oh, you already spoke? Okay. Okay, thank you. Wendy Huang? Okay, sorry. Thank you. Did James Brown speak? Okay, come on.
Okay.
Thank you. Coming up.
Mr. Brown.
Mr. President, thank you. First, I'd like to address Supervisor Spear. Several years ago, we worked together to rescue a family of 8 from the tyranny of the Taliban. I'm the Marine that was on the other end of those communications with your team, specifically with Katrina Rill. And we successfully brought home a 2-year-old American citizen and their 7 family members who now live peacefully in Sacramento. So thank you for that. Today, I'm asking you and Supervisor Gaucher and President Canepa to help rescue this community of 800,000 residents from the tyranny of Supervisors Corso and Mueller. Sheriff Corpus was elected overwhelmingly on a promise to root out corruption. She has kept that promise. She worked with the SAL board to prevent the theft and abuse that had flourished under the prior administration and was tolerated by this board. She implemented common sense overtime reforms to address the jail staffing crisis, and that's what led to this entire campaign against her. Corso and Mueller, with the help of willing allies, weaponized misinformation. You advanced a hearsay-heavy Cordell report as if it were fact, while ignoring that most of the allegations predated Sheriff Corpus's election. About 90 days, maybe 120 days ago, I stood before you, and I told you that I have firsthand information that contradicts some of the details in the Cordell report. I offered to testify to you under oath, then on the spot or any time you name, and I have not received a single phone call to ask for that. I don't understand why you continue to accept the Cordell hearsay report as fact. The voters were lied to. Measure A would not have passed if they had been told the truth. I ask you to please stop this tyranny. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. 5 more speakers from chambers, and then we'll hear speakers from Zoom. Mike Lang. Thank you, followed by Lauren Agnew.
Good morning, supervisors. My name is Mike Lang, and I respectfully request 4 minutes or under, okay? The issue is to propose a tax relief to senior homeowner. Let's look at it this. Beginning from this year, there are 4 states, they freeze annual property tax, which are Arizona, Arkansas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, and Iowa, actually 5. Plus another 17 states, they provide tax credits. And those states are Connecticut, Delaware, Kansas, Maine, Michigan, Missouri, Montana, New Jersey, New Mexico, North Dakota, Pennsylvania, South Dakota, Tennessee, Utah, West Virginia, and Washington. And even at the south, at the Santa Clara County, they also exempt, partial tax exempt in the unified school district. What I'm asking the Board of Supervisors is to propose an initiative to see whether we can put on the November ballot to exempt the senior citizen, senior homeowner from unified school district. If you look at your property tax bill,
I've given you 40 seconds. If you can wrap
I
up.
request.
Oh, no, you don't.
I request the
no,
4
no,
minutes.
No, you don't. It doesn't work
But the
that
previous speaker, they used 12 and a half minutes.
But that was for a different item, sir. I'm going to
But
ask.
this is a very important issue.
So let me.
Please let me finish.
No, let me
okay?
interrupt. Let me interrupt you respectfully. What we're going to do is, I'm the chair of the Aging and Adult Commission. You're going to work with my staff. My staff is in the back, and we're going to take up your item. So I'm going to ask you gently to. His hand is up, right behind you. He's right behind you. I'm going to ask you to go visit him. Okay?
Okay, I do so, but I'll finish real quick, okay? So
Excuse
Santa
me,
Clara
sir,
County can
sir,
exempt.
Sir, I don't want to have to escort you out of here, okay? I'm asking you, we have rules in place. These rules are to be adhered to. Can you please wrap up?
Yeah, I'm wrapping up, but please let me finish.
Okay.
So Santa Clara County
10 seconds.
can exempt
10 seconds.
can exempt unified school district, that part. If you look at your property tax bill, 47% are contribute, and I'm only asking very reasonable solution for
Thank you very-
for age 65 and up.
Thank you very much, sir.
And then we're living,
Sir,
and then
sir,
we
thank you, sir. I'm trying to work with you, trying to collaborate with you. We have a staff member in the back who's going to help
I don't
you.
think you are fair. Believe
Okay,
me,
so-
because you
so-
give the previous speaker
Sir,
12 and a
I'm gonna
half
cut your
minutes,
mic.
and then
I'm
you.
sorry.
Please cut his mic off, sir. Do we have a sheriff's officer here? Do we have someone from the sheriff's office? I won't. No. Thank you so much. Next speaker, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Next speaker is Lauren Agnew, followed by Jim Lawrence.
Good morning.
Thank you.
I'm Lauren Agnew, and I live in the Seal Cove neighborhood of Moss Beach. I have lived at 901 Ocean for 42 years, paying the Montero Water and Sewer District, and including 2 bond measures. So in March, they started abandoning us for sewer and water. Some of my neighbors are on hoses. The whole concept of infrastructure is to be shared through public utilities. That's why we all pay. I would request that you please don't let them abandon our neighborhood. Our roads already include blind corners, and they're proposing some houses to get above ground water, but we're still not addressing the sewer. So please work coordinated with the public works and get the situation fixed. We're in deep trouble over there. A geological hazard study will be helpful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Jim Lawrence,
Just to share real quickly, we have done information requests to the district, and so we will be able to share that information once we get them fully complied with.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Lawrence.
Honorable President Canepa, all members of the board.
welcome back. I hope your break was peaceful and full of harmony. We, the public, certainly glad to have you back and have your zest and appeal to aggressively move towards resolving our public safety matters. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lawrence. Next speaker is Nancy Goodman, followed by Raman Jamal.
Hi, thank you. I'm Nancy Goodman. I live in Redwood City. I just didn't mean to make a comment, but with the lawyer talking for 10 minutes, I wanted to just share for the lawyers to know, since I believe I'm paying their bills, Mr. Lawyers that keep showing up. I live here. You don't. In 2022, 84,000 of us or so voted for Christina Corpus on the Reform, Transparency, Accountability campaign promise, and I was one of her best supporters, and I care a lot about her well-being. At the same time, in 2024, 90,000 of us voted for Measure A, which gave you the power under our county charter to remove the sheriff with cause. And thank you for developing procedures for that. 90,000 is more than 84,000. I don't expect the lawyers from out of town to know that, but I live here. I do wish that they would respect our vote. Thank you so much, and kind of what Jim said, welcome back. Sorry about all this.
All right. Thank you. Raman Jamal. And Mr. Joaquin Jimenez, are you speaking on this item or item number 2? Okay, I will call you afterwards. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm just going to speak off the cuff. I was brought into the knowledge of the Measure A through associate of mine. So I run a martial arts studio in North Fair Oaks, and our wrestling coach's son was falsely accused years ago of a crime he was not even at the scene of, and had to prove his factual innocence in San Mateo County. He was exonerated from that, but in the process, I was informed about Sheriff Corpus and what was going on. I read the Cordell report. It had these accusations of her being racist, of her being, intolerant, and all the other salacious stuff. So I reached out to her directly because being from San Mateo, from Redwood City, being black, it's like I need to find this stuff out for myself. And when I spoke to her, not only was she willing to come and speak at my facility on an open mic, she showed that she was not only not racist, she was anti-racist. You don't send your officers to learn from black communities in the South so that they can understand what the trauma is between law enforcement and people who endured that if you are racist. And so all what was shown in the Cordell report, I mean, I have personal, evidence otherwise to, it's falsehood. It's falsehood. And it was never really questioned. And one conversation with the sheriff herself will show that. And I feel like the people were misled with Measure A. And I believe that this is wrong.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Jamal. Last speaker from Chambers is Joaquin Jimenez, and then we'll take speakers from Zoom.
Good morning. My name is Joaquin Jimenez. I'm from the city of Half Moon Bay. I've been a resident of Half Moon Bay for 38 years. So I've seen the changes. I lived the changes in Half Moon Bay and the coast side. And I'm going to tell you, Measure A was a joke. It was a joke. Sexist, racist, so much ignorance about what's been going on in our community. Half Moon Bay, the coast side, Pacifica to Pescadero, San Mateo County, you don't care about us. You don't care about the changes. Christina, Sheriff Corpus, she does. She did. She made the change. Something that would never happen if she had not been elected. I supported her during her campaign. I support her right now 100%. It is an honor to be by her side, supporting her. The community of Half Moon Bay, the community of the coast, supports her because she made the change. I live the change. I've seen the change. Let me tell you something. Before she got elected, I used to get pulled over by the sheriff's office at an average twice a month, getting pulled over for nothing twice a month. Even when I was working for the probation department of San Mateo County, I was getting pulled over. Pretextual stops. Did not receive a ticket for nothing. She changed that. She changed that, and she was elected by the people. And we are behind her. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Mr. President, I apologize. There's two more speakers from chambers.
Okay.
We'll take Jenny Michael.
Through the clerk, this is the final call,
That's
correct?
Right. Yes. Jenny Michael, followed by our last speaker, Carlos Lexoleg.
Dear board and staff, I'm Jenny Michelle, a native and resident of Menlo Park. Personal comments. As a disabled working mom, I just had open heart surgery. Public transit is now how I meet my employer, medical, and parental obligations, utilizing all transit agencies serving San Mateo and Santa Clara counties. Our middle school age son, who's in the back, also uses Samtrans for getting around to school. Thank you to each one of you for voting to support SB 63. Seriously, you have heard our pleas and demonstrated your commitment to our family's long-term success. Hashtag love you too. Transit is the lifeblood of our family, but also of the region. Coastal residents use Trauma One Hospital at Stanford, whose workers utilize transit each day. Disclosure, my husband is a Stanford healthcare worker. We are excited to pay our pro rata share of Muni and BART capital maintenance and maintenance costs. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Carlos will be our last speaker.
Good morning, Supervisors. The attack on Sheriff Christina Corpus is not an isolated incident, but part of the San Mateo County government being out of integrity for 60 years. A 60-year secret of San Mateo County has been exposed by the Rodney Sorensen versus San Mateo County Bar Association case. The 60-year secret is that this local government has been practicing government corruption and influence for 60 years and continues to do so today. This 60-year secret started when the federal government passed legislation to ensure that indigent people accused of a crime would be provided with a lawyer, but this Board of Supervisors instead created a public defender's office, gave all of the funds to the San Mateo County Bar Association, a trade organization. And like a table, if one leg is out of integrity, it is going to affect the other legs eventually. The county government has been out of integrity for 60 years. Based on the 60-year secret, the Board of Supervisors is out of integrity. Based on the 60-year secret, the district attorney's office is out of integrity. Based on the 60-year secret, the city administration is out of integrity. Based on the 60-year secret, the justice system attacks innocent people. In this case, the first Latina sheriff in California and the first woman sheriff of any race in San Mateo. I have a son with no record who won a criminal identity theft case, and we found out it was the sheriff deputies that stole his identity. I support the sheriff, but I didn't trust those deputies.
Thank you. Now we'll take Zoom comments. So Madam Clerk, please proceed.
Thank you. At this time, we have 12 hands raised. Just a reminder, if you're commenting on the Independent Civilian Advisory Commission and the Inspector General, please hold those comments for item 2. And the consent agenda begins at item 12 through and including item 58 at closed session. We'll start with Martin Fox, followed by Vanessa Limas Tapia. Martin, please unmute and begin.
Good morning, my fellow veterans, President Canepa and County Attorney, Mr. Niblin, Supervisor Canepa, Corzo, Mueller, Gautier, and County Executive, Mr. Callaghy. Thank you all for your service to the county. Please make the county safer and healthier for persons living with serious mental illness and their families by making the reintroduction and passage of the repeal of the Lanterman-Peters Short Act a top county state legislative priority, and defunding its intellectually bankrupt and immoral supporters. The American Civil Liberties Union and the Law Foundation of Silicon Valley need to be a top county federal legislative priority. California's residents need a Dorothea Dix-inspired compassionate mental health treatment system, and California's Lanterman-Peters Short Act of 1967 is one of the 10 worst involuntary mental health treatment laws in the 50 states. So please make defunding the intellectually and morally bankrupt law foundation of Silicon Valley and disability rights California attorneys a top county federal legislative priority, the reintroduction and passage of the Lanham and Peaches Short Acts repeal a top county state legislative priority, and make Dorothea Dix Compassionate Mental Health Treatment System, San Mateo County Health Department's top priority. Thank you.
Through the
Thank
clerk,
you.
through the clerk, can we have
Yes.
a last call for speakers on this public comment?
Sure, Mr. President. Those on Zoom, please click raise hand at this time. It's a final call to make public comment. And as this is a final call, I will no longer take hands that get raised. So I'll announce that final name at this time. So please do raise your hand now.
While you're waiting for that, Madam Clerk, I do want to mention to the folks here in chambers, if you're filling out a speaker slip, please mention the item number on the speaker slip. If you're not speaking on an item, just mention general public comment so that it helps me out when I call your name. Thank you. Back to you, Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Okay, the final call has been made and no hands have been raised since. So Pat Willard will be the last speaker. We'll move on to Giuliano, followed by Catherine Dumont. Giuliano, please unmute and begin.
Hi, Supervisors. Thank you very much. Giuliano Carlini speaking only for myself. I'm so glad that the SB 63 is moving forward. I agree with Ms. Spear that it's deeply flawed, it has some flaws, but let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. Let's figure out how to make it better in the future. But it's fantastic, right? I'm a cyclist. I take Caltrain, I take Samtrans, VTA, and BART when distances are too long. It's a fantastic service for me. It's a fantastic service for so many folks who cannot drive, who do not have the economic ability to drive, who, like my sister, can't drive. Thanks for pushing this forward. And I do hope in the future that it can be made better. But as is, it's fantastic. Thank you all.
Thank you. Vanessa Lemus Tapia, followed by Catherine Dumont.
Vanessa, we can't hear you.
Maybe we can get back to Vanessa if she's having some audio issues.
Madam Clerk?
Okay, let me try Catherine.
Thank you.
Catherine, please unmute and begin.
Good morning, Supervisors. This is Catherine Dumont, Menlo Park resident and user of Caltrain, Samtrans, BART, and VTA. Was thrilled last week when Samtrans and VTA voted to join the regional measure for saving public transit. I'm really deeply appreciate all the dozens of representatives of all the various cities, all the work that was put in, all the staff time that was put in to get to a yes and support. The area we live in is growing, and I've lived here for 68 years. I'm a native of the Bay Area. We will never stop growing. We need more public transit to fulfill our housing needs, and appreciate the support for this measure. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let me try Vanessa again. Vanessa, please unmute and begin. Vanessa, you can unmute your microphone.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
Perfect. Good morning, Honorable Board Supervisors, Mr. Callaghy, and members of the public. I would like to direct my comments to Christina's attorney, Perez, and inquire to the board how many attorneys can Corpus add to her team using taxpayer dollars. Currently, she has 5 attorneys, and that number continues to rise. The situation is becoming increasingly costly for taxpayers. What distinguishes what Perez said from what Mizuko has already previously stated? Absolutely nothing. We keep hearing the same excuses, and the derogatory language employed by Perez today reflects that of the sheriff. Let me remind members of the public, this is not a political power. Majority of this board supported Christina during her campaign, and this is not bias, but rather responsibility to represent the county. Interestingly, the same voters who backed this sheriff also chose to vote her out. In 2022, Christina received 82,622 votes, while Measure A garnered 90,900 yes votes. As we move forward, let's concentrate on the 2025 election and prioritize the voices of our community, rather than focusing on the past election results. Lastly, Christina's attorney Perez is correct. There is a solution. Corpus can resign, yet she chooses not to. I'm frustrated with Christina's attorneys continuously misleading the public with nationwide statistics. It's crucial for everything to be transparent, and I believe we need to take action to remove this corrupt sheriff from office. I look forward to the start of this hearing on August 18th. Thank you.
Thank you, Vanessa. We'll now go to Adina Levin, followed by Michael Kelly. Adina, please unmute. Adina Levin, if you can unmute your microphone. Okay, Adina, we'll come back to you. Michael Kelly, please unmute your microphone and begin.
Good morning, Supervisors. Michael Kelly. I'm a San Mateo business owner and community activist. Supervisors, I implore you to abandon this misguided effort and unconstitutional effort to remove Christina Corpus, Sheriff Corpus, from office. You know, they say the devil's biggest accomplishment was convincing people that he didn't exist. I think the supervisor's biggest accomplishment was convincing the voters to relinquish their voices, their votes. And Measure A was example forthcoming of just what that meant. You know, last week in the federal Judge Chabria's office, he pointed out the correct way to do this, to remove Sheriff Corpus, would have been a recall. The lawyer for the supervisor said, oh, that would have taken too long. But it was the exact same thing to get Measure A on the ballot. Lastly, I'll just ask that when Sheriff Corpus turned off the spigot, where some deputies and officers were getting $400,000, $600,000, up to $850,000 a year, and she turned that off, the unions went after her, and Supervisor Mueller and Supervisor Corzo are carrying their water. If you want to make some distance there, swear off in accepting any campaign contributions from the sergeants union or the deputies union, because every indicator shows that you are political animals and you've been bought and sold by the unions. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Rhonda Reyna, please unmute and begin.
Good morning, Board of Supervisors. Over the past month, several people reposted the video of my daughter's brutal strangulation and kidnapping by policy officers on unlawful orders of District Attorney Stephen Wagstaff and Title 4D Administrator Don Frankie. What has followed this horrific event to my innocent daughter is a massive conspiracy to cover up the criminal acts by multiple public employees. Supervisor Gaucher asked County Exec Mike Callaghy for an investigation, but to date, Mike Callaghy has conspired to cover up the federal crimes. You are all on notice that conspiring to commit federal crimes and conspiring to cover up federal crimes is criminal activity. The consequences are that many mothers have died recently, which is murder and manslaughter, and this is being discussed globally. As a result of all this, Senator Mark Fincham is investigating the family court and has been holding public hearings throughout this year. This massive conspiracy is coming to light, and you are all famous for what you did to my daughter. Thank you.
Thank you, Rhonda. Andrea Chivi, followed by Stacy, excuse me. Andrea, please unmute and begin.
Hi, I just have a general public comment. My name is Andrea Chivi. I'm from San Mateo, and I often use Caltrain and Samtrans. So I'm a high school student at one of our local San Mateo schools, and I just wanted to express my gratitude for the Samtrans board voting to join the regional funding measure to make sure services stay high quality. Since middle school, I have utilized these services because I didn't go to the high school nor middle school in my neighborhood. So I could have more resources, and without these services, I wouldn't have been able to do that. And not just me, but my peers around me heavily use public transport because they can't afford a car or simply don't drive. So this matter is extremely important to the youth of our county. And I just wanted to thank David Canepa and Noelia Corzo specifically for your guys' support for this measure, and hope the board can move together to recognize its importance together. Thanks so much for everything you do.
Thank you, Andrea. We'll now go to Stacy, followed by Carlisle and Young. Stacy, please unmute and begin.
I'm Stacey McCarthy. I live here on the coast side of longtime resident of San Mateo County, and I have never seen the culture clash that is resident in the attempted removal of Christine from her elected position as sheriff. The Measure A election was based on incredibly false information that the Board of Supervisors paid for and has been discounted by your own Kecker report. And if we want to talk about the amount of money that's been spent, let's find out how much has been spent from the county side in pursuing Sheriff Corpus. I have seen culture shock. I think we all understand how antibodies work in the body. These are antibodies of a body trying to reject healing. Christina has done her job in connecting with community. Our members here no longer fear the Sheriff's Department. She is meeting the public equitably, was not the case under previous administrations of our Sheriff's Department. She's instituted healthcare improvements for our deputies. Our deputies are better, and she's recruited over 130 and has a backlog of 250 deputies that want to join her force, and that's unheard of in the world of law enforcement. Thank you for the space to make these comments. I hope that you will seriously consider the civil grand jury so that we can all have an informed voice. Thank you.
Thank you, Stacy. Carlisle and Young, followed by Matt Jones. Carlisle, please unmute and begin.
Thank you so much. I've been a Coastside resident since 1988 and a San Mateo County resident since 1980. First of all, I have three things to say. Number one, the chamber audio is vastly improved, so for that I thank you. Number two, while I can't comment on other communities, but the Coastside, there have been scofflaws setting off loud explosives since mid-June through this past weekend with no enforcement. And I've noticed, I've been reading the Coastside logs, and I would like to ask if we can somehow get some shot detectors to find out and narrow down where these explosions are occurring, because they seem random. But mostly El Granada and Pacifica have mentioned it on next door, and we hear it all throughout the Coastside. And the last thing I wanted to ask is number three, Supervisor Mueller, could you please tell us what date the Seal Cove meeting's going to be? And I also live in Seal Cove, so that's important to the rest of our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Carlisle.
Through the clerk, how many speakers do we have left?
3 more, Mr. President.
Thank you so much.
Of course. Matt Jones, followed by Maria Aguirre. Matt, please unmute and begin.
Yes. Hi, good morning, supervisors. Thank you for having me this morning. My name is Matt Jones. I work as Director of Advocacy for the Silicon Valley Bike Coalition. We've been working with different partners and tracking this opt-in decision very closely. I just wanted to thank, I know that there have been a lot of tough decisions. I wanted to thank everyone who's been involved, especially staff at SamTrans and TA that have, very thoughtfully crafted positions that I think are benefiting residents of San Mateo County, but also benefiting the whole region. We're a 9-county Bay Area, and the better we can connect different forms of transit, whether it be SamTrans, BART, Caltrain, Muni, to biking, the fewer people are in their cars, the less pollution we will have. So being able to integrate this, our transit network is going to make us stronger as a region. So I just want to thank you all for your courage with this decision.
Thank you, Matt. Maria Aguirre, followed by our last speaker, Pat Willard. Maria, please unmute and begin. Maria, your microphone is on, but we don't see or hear you speaking. Okay, Maria, I'll come back to you. Let me go ahead and go to Pat Willard. Please unmute Pat.
Thank you. Hopefully you all hear me. County Council Niblin and members of the Board of Supervisors. I have emailed to all of you two ordinances, two from Los Angeles County and two from San Francisco County, defining their roles and responsibilities for a permanent inspector general full-time and what is an actual independent civilian advisory committee. Both of these counties, particularly Los Angeles County, the Civilian Advisory Commission advises the Inspector General as opposed to coming to the Board of Supervisors to get their approval. All right, so huge difference there. Also, ICAC is defined by nothing but a web page. There's no ordinance that I've heard of, although I've requested it and not provided it, so I think it no longer exists or does not yet exist. Having a web page defining the ICAC is not an ordinance and subject to manipulation depending on who's the sheriff. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Pat. We'll now try Maria Aguirre one more time. Maria, please go ahead and unmute and begin. Maria, your microphone's on, but it's not jumping on Zoom, so I don't know if you're speaking. There's still no sound coming, Maria. Mr. President, I defer to you. There's no audio coming through and the microphone's not reacting.
Great. Did we get to Vanessa Tapia? Okay, we did. Okay.
Yes, Mr. President.
So there are no speakers. Is that correct?
And that's correct. Maria's audio didn't come through. So that was the last speaker.
Okay. I just want to make sure that we don't forget anyone online. And so let me thank all the public speakers for their comments.
Mr. President, yes. Sorry, there's a hand raised.
Okay. You submitted a card? Yes. Okay. Why don't you come on up?
And as mentioned earlier, please mention the agenda item number next time. Thank you. And please mention your name for the record. Thank you.
Board of Supervisors.
Would you mind putting the microphone just
Oh, sorry.
a little bit?
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
I came here today as a voter who feels flat out lied by the board. When Measure A was put before us, you told the public it was necessary based on the Cordell report. We were told it was the truth, the evidence, and the reason we needed to remove the sheriff. Now the district attorney calls the same report hearsay. If it was unreliable, why was it used to persuade voters? Why were we sold something that collapses under scrutiny? This is deception, plain and simple. Meanwhile, the sheriff has been trying to clean up misconduct, but instead of supporting her and spreading false narratives, and this board has let them stand, before attacking her reputation, you should have done real fact-finding. Worse, you created a process that allows you to remove the sheriff no matter what the facts are. That's not oversight. It's political weaponry against an elected official. I am furious. We voted based on what we were told was the truth. Instead, we got politics, control, and spin. This board owes the public honesty, transparency, and fairness. And right now, you're failing all three. And here's the truth. You can't spin. You didn't just undermine the sheriff, you undermined the will of the people. Thank you.
Thank you. And for the record, you're Christina Solomon, right? Is that correct? Christina Solomon? Yes. Okay, thank you. Back to you, Mr. President.
Great. Thank you very much. That brings us to the portion of the agenda to set the agenda and to approve consent agenda items. My understanding, Supervisor Spear, is that you'd like to pull an item. Is that correct?
That is true.
Yes, I would like to pull item 53.
Are there any other members that would like to pull an item? Seeing that, Supervisor Spear, would you make a motion to approve the consent agenda items with the exception of, I believe it's item 53, is that correct?
That's correct. I'll make that
Supervisor,
motion.
Yes.
Mr. President, Supervisor Spear, to clarify, are we going to bring that item back at a future meeting, or was we going to move it to the regular agenda?
My understanding was that it was going to be brought back at a future meeting.
Thank you. Okay.
All
Just
right.
for clarity.
All right, if you can make the motion, Supervisor Spear, that would be helpful.
So I will move the agenda minus item 53.
Second.
All right, roll call, please.
Thank you. Supervisor Spear?
Aye.
Thank you, Supervisor Corzo?
Yes.
Thank you, Supervisor Mueller?
Yes.
Thank you, Supervisor Gaucher?
Yes.
And President Canepa?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes and the consent agenda is approved with the exception of item number 53.
All right, we'll now move to presentations and awards. We have 3 items today under this heading. We'll start with item 1, which is a poetry reading by San Mateo County poet laureate Antonio Lopez. This item is sponsored by Supervisor Corso.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. As liaison to the Arts Commission and Poet Laureate Selection Committee, it's my honor to welcome back our county's Poet Laureate Antonio Lopez for our quarterly poetry reading. Antonio is not only an award-winning poet and educator, but also a champion for using the arts to uplift community voices and spark important conversations. His work reflects the heart, diversity, and resilience of our county. As we know, our county is facing some challenges, and it is in times like these that poetry is even more important than ever to speak truth to power and shine light on what needs the attention of our hearts. Please join me in welcoming our county's Poet Laureate, Antonio Lopez, reading his poem, Parting the Red Me.
So, good morning. I'm going to take a word from President Canepa, given the very lively discussion y'all are having this morning, and I just want to clarify, this is just a poem. It does not have any fiscal impact. No one is being subpoenaed. There is no, maybe there's an oversight in some shape or form, but it will not implicate the account in any negative way.
Mr. Lopez, we're going to hold you to that.
Maybe poetry does do that. I don't know. What can I say about this poem? So I wrote this poem sort of in the eve or in the after days of the 40th year anniversary for the city of East Palo Alto. As you know, the city of East Palo Alto is one of the last cities to be incorporated in this great county. So I'll read to you a poem, and the epigraph begins as follows. East Palo Alto will be celebrating, it's from an article, will be celebrating its 40th anniversary as a city this week. And you're not alone if that sounds strange to you. The San Mateo community of East Palo Alto came into being about a century ago. It remained unincorporated until July 1st, 1983. Divided by Highway 101, East Palo Alto has had a diverse population for decades, partly due to abhorrent red line policies and gentrification, and it is now largely Latino. But the 2.5 square mile city has undergone startling physical change in the past quarter century, too. Whiskey Gulch was developed into University Circle, with the Four Seasons Hotel as its sparkling gem. The Mercury News, June 28, 2023. And this is the poem, Parting the Red Me. We're nearing 40 years wandering this Silicon desert. Sing about me, I'm dying of hearse. Oh, sweet thirst of boys I lost in the heat of teens, who came to court in Levi's. It is said all prophets meet their wives by a well. Well, Jose, I keep pouring over this stream. No clean water falls from a faucet. A mother bends to face her son. Take this jug to Safeway. He walks to Palo Alto. At the border, he can't help it. He looks back. All that's left is the McDonald's and Jones mortuary. It's too much to take in. Let my pupil go, I order my eyelids. And that's just it. I wake, I blink, I have a beard. I'm 30. I look at the mirror. I look at the mayor. Was it all scripture or just script? This long, straight path trekked by our grandmothers. US 101, the freeway that cut us in half. God, who needs him when you got the government, playing King Solomon, and the DA thinks he's Pharaoh arresting Moises during practice. Was any of it scripture or just script? Has the jury reached a verdict? In the matter of East Palo Alto versus its education, we find the children scattered among many school districts. Pali, for those who felt lucky. East Side Prep, I applied 3 frickin' times. Carmont for my sis. Woodside strictly for my cousins. Where are we headed now, gang? A place where the knife never knew our backs. Sing about us. I'm eyeing for the Pacific, for this ocean to be my brow. I'm on one, south, and I'm as quiet as they are now, staring at this sea of teas, blue, white, and red. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. I hope this is I believe that poem was perfect just to kind of keep us centered and for future conversations the rest of this meeting. But I want to thank you for sharing what's on your heart, sharing your perspective and experience, and even true poetry, educating people on some of the history and different perspectives of folks in this county. So thank you so much.
Wish I read another day, though, given the... I would have read something more unifying. That's the next poem, don't worry.
It's okay.
That's quarter
it's
3.
Okay.
Supervisor Gaucher.
Antonio, don't go anywhere just yet. I just want to thank you for your creativity. Thank you for representing East Palo Alto. District 4 is extremely proud of your work, and we look forward to future poetry coming out from you. And you learned today we need something a little bit more uplifting, so I'm looking forward to that. But again, it has been a pleasure to see you just continue to grow, and with all the work that you're doing. Congratulations. Keep up the great work.
Thank you, Supervisor. Thank you very much.
Great. Are there any other comments from board members? Public comment?
Thank you, Mr. President. No speakers from chamber, so Madam Clerk, please proceed.
On Zoom, please click raise hand to comment for item 1, our quarterly poetry reading. No hands raised, Mr. President.
Great. Thank you so much, Antonio. We are so fortunate to have you here in San Mateo County. You always speak truth to power, and really appreciate your courage. And you've always steadfast when it comes to your values. Thank you. All right.
Thank you, President.
That brings us to item 2, presentation and recommendation from the Independent Civilian Advisory Commission to establish an Inspector General for independent oversight of the Sheriff's Office. With that, I think, do we have any representatives from the IAAC? ICAC? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, what we're going to do is we'll have Supervisor Corzo introduce. Supervisor Corzo.
Thank you. I just wanted to note that I serve as one of the liaisons, our board liaisons to the ICAC, and I want to thank the ICAC for all of their hard work. The commission has spent a lot of time into building a relationship with all relevant departments, listening to the public, having thoughtful discussions. And I do think that it's important that we remember that all of our boards and commissions, their purpose is actually to inform the board and provide recommendations. And so these recommendations have, I know, been given a lot of thought and consideration, and it is their right to share those with us. And I also want to note that we are in kind of unique territory now, and so I personally have not attended. I think maybe I attended one on the first meeting, but I've let the ICAC do its work, and I have not intervened in any way. And I'm excited for us to hear about the recommendations.
All right, thank you. Good morning, Kalima.
Good morning.
Come on down.
I'm here. Yay.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. Good morning, President Canepa and honorable members of the board, and also staff. Before I start, I just want to thank both Adam and Emma, who are our staff with our commission, and they're such a huge support to me, and so Thank you to you both for everything that you do. So again, I'm here to talk about how we strengthen our oversight and give a recommendation for an Inspector General with subpoena power. My name is Kalima Salahuddin. I'm the chair of the San Mateo County Independent Civilian Advisory Commission. But because this is government, we love our acronyms, so we call ourselves ICAC, and it's also not a mouthful. This is just the agenda today, and I'm going to go through this pretty fast because I know you guys have a lot on the agenda. So just an introduction to ICAC, our recommendation, a little discussion about why we think this will help with effective independent oversight to support the oversight that the board already gives, why we feel subpoena power is crucial, and then just moving forward. So again, I'm one of the 9 commissioners on ICAC. This is just a listing of the current members. Right now, District 1 is vacant, but I know they're working to replace District 1. District 2 is James Simmons. District 3, Bill or William McClure, who's my vice chair. District 4, Rob Solano. District 5 is myself. Thank you to Supervisor Canepa for appointing me to this position and trusting me with that. Our at-large member is Shirley Melcano. And then our member nominated by sheriff is also vacant, and we're hoping that this position is also filled. But in the interim, we have our 2 alternates, Rebecca Kerabez and Alexis Lewis. Alexis is in the audience today. And so we've been able to work with a full complement. So I just wanted to take some time. We have been in a group working for a year. And in that year, we developed this mission statement. Our mission is to provide recommendations to the Board of Supervisors regarding the Sheriff's Office to enhance public confidence and foster mutual respect and trust, internally and externally. We recommend policies, programs, and practices that reflect community needs to uphold accountability, transparency, and justice. And I just wanted to ground what I'm saying in this foundation, because just when I spoke before about the formation of, at that time, an independent oversight committee, and what was formed was the advisory commission, this isn't about one particular office in the sheriff. This is about the institution of the sheriff's office, the ongoing need to rebuild the relationship with the community that predates this sheriff, has nothing to do with this particular person, and what we need to do in the future, which will post-date this sheriff. So this recommendation has nothing to do with individual person. This is about the institution and the body and how it supports and reflects our community. And that's why I'm here. Everybody knows I'm a really busy person. Anybody who knows me well knows I'm very busy. And I choose to spend some of my free time here because I want to see, in the place where my children live, a safe and cooperative and trusted county sheriff's office. A sheriff's office that's reflective of the name San Mateo County. So in our work, we had a goal-setting session on July 11th, and we decided to focus on 3 areas. 1, community and staff engagement. The second was improving communications between inmates and families. And the third, and this is the subcommittee that I'm on, transparency and accountability. So out of that body, our first recommendation, we're very happy to be able to make our first recommendation to this body, is the establishment of a permanent inspector general to oversee the sheriff's office with full subpoena power. So some of the key benefits, the ability to hold independent investigations, and I'm just gonna go through the list and I'll expand on it. Policy and operation reform recommendations, legal and fiscal safeguards, support for both the Board of Supervisors in their role in oversight and ICAC, and to have us be proactive, to use this staff member, hopefully future staff member, proactively versus reactively, the way it's currently being used. So, independent oversight that's effective. Right now, there is oversight, as I've stated, within this body. The Board of Supervisors has retained the oversight power. But to have another oversight support that's independent to accompany what you're doing. And I think one of the reasons why I feel this is important is we've seen examples of today. we have competing data, we have competing interests, and people are lying blame, lying bias. And I'm hopeful that an independent body that's run by members of the community, that's representative of the community, can be held to a higher standard and be seen as some of the clarifying air. I'm from Daly City. I say the clarifying fog that can come through and help people see and meet in the middle. If we can't agree on data, then we're in a bad place. So the ability to hold impartial investigations into allegations of misconduct, both internally and externally, to be able to review internal investigations for fairness, and then support ICAC when issues are brought to our commission. Right now, people email us complaints, and there's nothing that we can really do about it. We have no ability to request, and we can request information, but there's no obligation to answer that request. We can't direct staff to do anything. And so when complaints come to us, I don't want the community to stop coming to us because there's no resolution when they do bring issues forward to us, or there's no guarantee of a resolution. To be able to engage with the public and build trust, again, supporting ICAC in our community engagement work, and to be able to stand with us and to provide data and for us to use. Because one of the things that I would like ICAC to use is to be able to be the body to not just talk about what issues, but also to share the positive and good things that are happening. And I've learned about a lot of wonderful things that are happening within the sheriff's office. The ability to follow up, like I said, and respond to inquiry. Again, data and reports that we can agree on. And assist in elevating what's currently available. And then policy and operation reform recommendations. This one is really important, the ability to see trends. You know, we all know the importance of seeing data, years data, and seeing projections. That gives us the ability to project out and hopefully disrupt issues before they start. So the ability to see trends, the ability to learn from the county and department's culture and needs, I think you're a better place to give recommendations if you understand who the department is, and especially the culture of the department, to monitor current policy and procedures to ensure effectiveness, and then to gauge where additional supports is needed. Having legal and fiscal safeguards. Really, as you all know, you all serve as kind of the Supreme Court of this body, and to be able to retain that position and to remove any appearance of bias. So having everything, our issues couched within the Inspector General's office, working with ICAC, and then when it's needed to bring issues forward to the Board of Supervisors. Again, the county is complex. And the amount of time that you're having to devote to this singular issue can take your focus away from other areas. So again, to be able to have the Inspector General be able to do a heavy lift on that work. And then again, the continued support for us. And then the financial impact prevents, in my opinion, from having spoken to numerous Inspector Generals. This is not a position that's unique. I spoke to the Inspector General in Santa Cruz, Sonoma, and Sacramento counties. And then they're looking into doing this in Alameda. It's also happening in San Francisco and LA, but those are two juggernauts that I usually stay away from, and try to speak to localities that are more similar to our own. So seeing those examples of civil rights violations and misconduct being caught early before they can compound into more complex issues, and disrupting issues before they lead to litigation. There's a DOJ report that was done that talks about this position nationally that I've had the link in and I found very helpful. And one of the quotes that I pulled from there is that comprehensive oversight isn't just ethical, it's economical. Lawsuits for misconduct can cost millions. Prevention is far cheaper than litigation. And then this is a key issue for me, subpoena power. It doesn't make any sense for me to put an Inspector General in place if they don't have the subpoena power. It's the backbone for their oversight. and this is why it's essential in my opinion, ensures access to records and testimony, allows work to happen without having to start and stop and constantly come before this body when it's having a meeting in order to get permission to do so. Also, coming here may cause an alert for people to get in front or possibly obstruct an investigation. So being able to do that work in concert with the Board of Supervisors and be as efficient and effective as possible. Enables the thorough investigations, again, supports legal and fiscal accountability, and fulfills the promise of AB 1185 that was passed by the California legislature. And moving to being proactive versus reactive, and this is really important to me. I would like us to get in front of these problems. I would like us to be able to, be courageous and try different things. This is not the sole answer. This is one additional piece, working with you, working with ICAC, working alongside the different things that the Sheriff's Office is doing. They've come and told us about a couple of great programs that they put in place, and also investigations they're doing themselves. For example, they're looking into the current deaths that have happened in our jail system to be able to have the Inspector General support those, and then to be able to provide reports and information so that we can give you recommendations that can help ensure that the Sheriff's Office gets the support that they need, we're able to disrupt any future problems, and that the community is kept informed. So again, to talk about our recommendations, to establish a full-time Inspector General with subpoena power to fulfill the promise of AB 1185, provide resources for those independent investigations, and support the community engagement and transparency process. These are some of the recommendations if we were to move forward with the Inspector General that ICAC would like to look into. So staffing levels, safety and operations integrity at Sheriff's Correctional Facilities from January 2025 to current, assessment of the Professional Standards Bureau internal affairs practices, timelines, transparency, accountability, and disciplinary action, including any pending action from 2022 to current, review of deaths of inmates housed in Sheriff's Correctional Facilities. This is something that the Sheriff's Office is currently looking into from 2023 to current. An assessment, spelling typo, of the Professional Standards Bureau complaint practices, timelines, transparency, accountability, and disciplinary actions, including any pending. So we are thankful for the work that we've currently been able to do. And again, my whole purpose for being here is to help reseed the trust between the community and the Sheriff's Office, and I'm hoping that this recommendation will help do that along with your support. So thank you, and I'm available if there's any questions, if you have any, and I'm also available anytime if you have any questions, just reach out. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you so much. Kalima, Supervisor Corso.
Thank you for that presentation. Let me pull up my notes here. No, I just want to thank you for that, and for all of the members of the public that are still here, thank you for being here. I think these recommendations are a path forward. We do see a lot of division in our community around what accountability looks like, and I want to thank you and how do you say ICAC?
ICAC, yeah,
ICAC.
that's
Okay,
lovingly call it.
Okay, ICAC. Thank you for leading that work. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And thank you, Kalima. Do we have any public comment?
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. I do have several speakers from Chambers, and then we'll take speakers from Zoom.
Great.
I'll start with the Deacon Lauren McCombs, followed by Ginny Cross.
What a morning we've had. My name is Deacon Lauren Patton McCombs. I'm currently serving at Christ Episcopal Church in Portola Valley and Woodside. I'm a member of Peninsula Solidarity Cohort and the Coalition for a Safer San Mateo County. So you all know the themes of my public comment have not changed in the 3 years that I have come before you. I faithfully support ICAC, and they're calling for a permanent Inspector General with subpoena power, and for community engagement if the board chooses to appoint an interim sheriff Over the past year, we have witnessed the complete unraveling of the sheriff's office, which has cost the county millions of dollars in legal fees and numerous lawsuits. We all agree that public safety should be available for everybody. The sheriff's office cannot provide safety without transparency, trust in law enforcement, and accountability in the community that it serves. Therefore, the time to act is now. I encourage you to follow the recommendation of ICAC and hire a permanent inspector general with subpoena power to prevent any future problems developing within the sheriff's office. Don't wait until a new interim sheriff is appointed. Don't delay and do it today for the good of all who live in San Mateo County. And again, thank you for all of your service. I do appreciate it.
Thank you. 6 additional speakers. Jenny Cross, followed by Beth Emster.
Before my clock starts, I just want to say how exciting this process continues to be. My name is Jenny Krause, Fixin' San Mateo. While the U.S. government is working to destroy any remaining threads of democracy in the United States, we can make meaningful changes in our local county to exercise democratic principles. You have an ethical responsibility to ensure this community can exercise our rights by involving the citizens of this county in the oversight of our sheriff. While ICAC is a step in the right direction, it is virtually powerless by design. Its charter does not authorize it to receive, investigate, or act on complaints against the sheriff's office. It is not, therefore, independent. It was designed primarily by this board to be powerless, nearly a token commission. We want accountability, we want community involvement, we want power in the hands of the electorate, we want a voice in the selection of a new sheriff, we want a board willing to stand up for what's right rather than what's politically expedient. We want subpoena power. We want genuine independent representation vis-a-vis our sheriff. We want real power and oversight, not illusions of power. We demand an IG, saving money by deferring the costs of an independent investigators. Without an IG, the costs will be borne by the citizens of San Mateo County, whose concerns and complaints will hit a dead end, a roadblock, and go unanswered. Make the right choice.
Thank you. Next speaker is Beth Emster, followed by Bill No.
My name is Beth Von Emster, and I'm co-chair, of the ACLU San Mateo County chapter. The sheriff may be out of office soon, and it's time to start thinking about a process for identifying a successor. If y'all choose to appoint a successor as opposed to an election, please employ a process that involves the community deeply. A subsequent sheriff should be someone who embodies the community's values and listens to its concerns. The way to find that person is to ask the community what those values and concerns are. The process should involve listening sessions, surveys, and candidate interviews conducted in public, like the Alameda County Board of Supervisors did when it selected a replacement district attorney recently. It should involve a multilingual approach and efforts to reach populations traditionally underrepresented in our county's political life. The ICAC could be a strong partner for you in involving the community, and I hope you will make the most of that resource. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Bill Newell, followed by Nancy Goodman.
Good morning, County Board. We're at an inflection point, a seminal moment, as you may know, in the history of working towards oversight for the Sheriff's Office. Process is underway to remove the current sheriff. During this transition process, please involve the community in the selection of the next sheriff and hire an expert, somebody in sheriff oversight, also known as Inspector General, on an ongoing basis to provide sheriff accountability and transparency. I, for one, in my community, worry about whether the next sheriff will do everything they can to protect my community, our community, from ICE and impending raids that we all know have been well documented up to this point. What will our sheriff's office continue to do to support our community? It is crucial that the community have a voice in the education, in the selection process. We will be living with the sheriff's administration for some time. Town halls, surveys, focus groups, and other means should be employed to collect resident input for the characteristics and views of the sheriff. The selection process should be open and transparent, and you can look to the Alameda County Board of Supervisors experience where they publicly interviewed finalists for the district attorney can help to serve as a model for you. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Nancy Goodman, followed by Ariana Santana.
Hi, thank you. So I'm Nancy Goodman again. I am here to share two statements from the Coalition for a Safer San Mateo County, which I'll give to Suki, and one from the Pacifica Daly City Democratic Club, which is slightly different. The Statement of Sheriff Accountability, which is supportive, fully supportive of the recommendations from ECAC that Kalima just gave, calls for a permanent inspector general, and it also calls for community engagement if you decide to appoint a new sheriff interim. The statement also outlines what we believe any sheriff should commit to in terms of a respectful work environment to repair the damage in the office, good community relations, cooperation with ECAC, not colluding with ICE immigration, eliminating the unnecessary use of force, and improving jail conditions. This has been signed by 26 organizations. The Pacifica Daly City Democratic Club signed a similar one, but differs in the sentence about the tasers. The other statement is about the recommendations for what an inspector general duties and authorities would look like. And I'm giving copies, but I also emailed them. Thank you so much for all that you do.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you
Goodman.
so much. Nancy, can you share those letters with us? I'd like to. Yes. Great. Yes. Thank you.
Yep, that's good. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Ariana Santana, followed by Elsa Schaefer.
Good morning, Board of Supervisors. My name is Ariana, and I speak today on behalf of Puente de la Costa Sur. Past breaches of trust have strained the relationship between the Sheriff's Office and the public. Right now, we have an opportunity to rebuild that trust. We urge you to accept the recommendation from the Independent Civilian Advisory Committee on the Sheriff's Office to hire a permanent Inspector General with subpoena power to provide independent oversight and ensure accountability and transparency in the Sheriff's Office. Thank you.
Thank you. Our last speaker is from Chambers is Elsa Schaefer.
Thank you and good morning. I'm Elsa Schaefer, living in Menlo Park, and in our county 40 years, I'm vice chair of the San Mateo County Democracy for America. And I ask you please to create an Inspector General's office vis-a-vis the Sheriff's Office to analyze emerging problems which become obvious when that IG systematically tracks metrics, which then highlight trends before they become egregious, as in the unconscionable situation you face today in the Sheriff's Office. You created the ICAC, which has excellent commissioners, yet they can ask questions and no one has to answer them. A full-time Inspector General with subpoena power would, one, do the crucial tracking systematically, two, ask those questions and get the answers, and three, work with the sheriff and with you to shine a light on issues, promptly taking action to resolve them. Your $4.9 billion budget can afford to ensure a safe, trusting, collegial environment for law enforcement and residents, helping save the tens of millions of taxpayer dollars currently being paid for lawsuits engendered by the Sheriff's Office. As our former congresswomen have said, when we first started this process 3.5 years ago to urge you to set up these bodies, oversight is good governance. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That's the end of public comment from Chambers. So, Madam Clerk, please proceed.
Thank you. At this time, we have 6 hands raised. This is for item 2, Karina Merrick, followed by Rhonda Reyna. Karina, please unmute and begin.
Hi, I'm Karina Merrick from Redwood City. I'd like to address this agenda item as a taxpayer. I do not like that my tax money had to be spent on a post hoc investigation because corruption and abuse were allegedly allowed to run unchecked for months. I don't like it being spent on special elections to create temporary powers to clean up scandals. I don't like it being spent to litigate, settle, or pay out damages from lawsuits. I especially do not like that the county won't even tell us how much of our money has been spent on this fiasco. But I would love it if the county would spend my money on good government, structural accountability, and creating a better community for everybody. You can do that now by following ICAC's recommendation for an inspector general. I urge you to create that office as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Karina. Rhonda Reyna, followed by Martin Fox. Rhonda, please unmute and begin.
Yes, the presenter said that she spoke to the Santa Cruz OIG, and that is Michael Giannacco, who factually covers up police misconduct. Public comment in Santa Cruz following the alleged OIG's investigation into several Santa Cruz misconduct cases proved that Michael Giannacco is a fraud and a liar. So who investigates the misconduct of the OIG? Because this is just another layer of government to cover up malfeasance and corruption. And let me remind you that Ladoris Cordell also did alleged independent investigations. Really, the only thing the public can do at this point in time is recall every politician, every board of supervisor, and step into these roles and create the government that they want, a government for the people who represents the will of the people and can clean up these corrupt agencies, the sheriff's department, who Christina is battling, and there's a lot of malfeasance in my case that's never been investigated. And of course, the corrupt district attorney, Stephen Wagstaff, who puts innocent people in jail. Thank you.
Thank you, Rhonda. Martin Fox, followed by Catherine Dumont. Martin, please unmute and begin.
Failing to plan for the future is planning to fail, and the presentation recommendations ignore the elephant in the room. Or maybe it's the herd of elephants. The litigation addressing overcrowded state of California's state prison system since 1990, because it fails to address the mental health treatment needs of its inmates, has been ignored once again. We've been doing this for more than 30 years. The United States District Court has already appointed a federal receiver. This presentation has not just ignored the elephant in the room and the herd of elephants in the room, but the likely transfer of state prisoners to county jails. And that needs to be given the priority now, because the receiver is here. Thank you.
Thank you, Martin. Catherine Dumont, followed by Pat Willard.
Good morning, supervisors. I just want to express my support for the recommendations of ICAC and that we establish the Inspector General and ensure the full subpoena power, provide the resources, and supporting community engagement and transparency. As someone who has lost a family member in custody in another jurisdiction, I just can't emphasize enough how important it is for us all to feel like our rights and the rights of our loved ones are protected. Thank you.
Thank you. Two speakers, Pat Willard, followed by Jason M. Pat, please unmute and begin.
Thank you, Pat Willard. By the way, I was born and raised in Los Angeles. I appreciate Kalima's asking local jurisdictions about how they do the permanent Inspector General. I'm speaking kind of off the cuff because there are some parts of the Civilian Advisory Committee that I recall reading in the Los Angeles County Ordinance. That is that the not independent ICAC that we have today, right? The Civilian Advisory Committee and the Inspector General collaborate with each other. The Inspector General has two ways to issue a subpoena. First, by request of the Board of Supervisors. Secondly, by request of the Civilian Advisory Commission. if I recall. Therefore, there are 2 points to the ICAC can make recommendation to the Inspector General, and the Inspector General can make recommendation to the Board of Supervisors and or the Civilian Oversight Commission. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Willard. Last call for public speakers.
Yes, Mr. President, we do have one more hand raised and the written comments with Mr. Clerk. We'll take with this other hand by Jason M. Jason, please unmute and begin.
Good morning. During this time of tumult and transition at the Sheriff's Office, I want to thank and stand with the ACLU of San Mateo County in demanding the installation of a full-time Inspector General that is community-minded and dignity-oriented. This IG should also and obviously have the ability to exercise subpoena power, without which she or he could not do their job properly or effectively. This is a good first step toward bringing accountability and integrity back to our county and on behalf of our residents, friends, and neighbors who expect and deserve it the most. Thank you, supervisors, for your time. And again, thank you, ACLU San Mateo County, Fixin' San Mateo County, and other great community organizations.
Thank you, Jason. I'll turn it back to Mr. Clerk for written comments.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We did receive several written comments yesterday, which were emailed to the board, and I did receive 2 just now. I'll be very brief. One is from Corinne Marcus. I would hope that the following is being addressed to involve the community in the selection of the next sheriff and hiring an expert in sheriff oversight, also known as Inspector General. More and more counties are implementing genuine sheriff oversight. Our county is falling behind in implementing this essential tool of sheriff accountability, transparency, and trust. The next one is from Sarah Matlin. It's longer than 250 words, so I'll try to summarize. If supervisors do appoint the next sheriff, it's crucial that the community have a voice in the selection process. I want to make sure that our next sheriff prioritizes the safety and dignity of all community members, regardless of their immigration status. The last one is from Steve Hom. I appreciate the work of ICAC. Further, I support their recommendation for hiring an Inspector General. That's the end of public comment. Back to you, Mr. President.
Great, thank you very much. This was an informational item. First of all, let me thank you, Chair Saludin, and the Commission. Obviously, you have put a lot of work forward, and that shows through your presentation. So I just really want to thank you, and obviously the executive staff. Thank you for helping to facilitate this. So that'll bring us to item 3, informational update on job train. Thank you for joining us.
If I can introduce the item. We have this morning Barry Hathaway, CEO of Job Train, and as you recall, back in the pandemic recovery efforts, the county provided ARPA dollars to Job Train and Renaissance to operate 3 economic advancement centers in our county, South San Francisco, Half Moon Bay, and North Fair Oaks. This morning, Barry's going to present the work accomplished through those investments. Take it away, Harry.
Good morning. Thanks for having me, for an opportunity to speak to you, and I feel like I should be sort of getting you all to stand up and shake it off. It's been an intense morning and not my favorite moment to come up and speak to you, but I am really here to say a couple of things, and yes, I'm going to end with some information about our EACs, but I want to start by letting you know that this year marks 60 years that Job Train is been providing services to this community, and it's been an amazing 60 years, and it's always interesting to me to see what does an organization do when they've been around for a good long time, and I'm going to share a little bit of that with you today. But first, I want to say thank you, because Job Train, as it is today, is absolutely a reflection of the partnerships we've had in this county, the way we've been received, the way we've been treated, the way we've worked together strategically and combined our joint forces to support this community. It has been a long-standing, very productive partnership, and I'm really grateful to have finally in my career had the experience of working closely with the county in a context of shared vision and shared ideals. So thank you for your partnership. Job Train has really evolved, and what you're seeing here is a very quick overview of what we do in the world. And this graphic is to represent one page that tells you everything Job Train does, but in the context of these steps. 4 years ago, there were 3 steps. There was not a mobility step. And so what we're seeing here is this growth in our thinking about our place in the world and how we can best serve the community. But understand that Job Train is a place where anybody can walk in the door and get the kind of help, very likely to get the kind of help they need. We start with this robust program of stabilization and support system. This is where our EACs live. Rapid employment, supportive services, getting somebody stabilized so they can begin growing economically. We have a whole series of programs that are designed to upgrade an individual's skills, whether it's digital skills or language skills or getting their GED or high school equivalency. These programs create a foundation for the low-income men and women in our communities to build a future that's more sustainable. And then we have a series of programs around career training, which are actually getting people started in career pathways that have a documented upward mobility as a career pathway. So now if somebody's getting through all these steps, or they could come in at any level, but if they get through all these steps, now we have a series of programs to help that graduate to continue their upward mobility to a point of what we're calling economic independence. So that's got a Job Train at the highest level, and those numbers in the center column really are how many people we expect to serve in fiscal year 26, which we just started last month. Another thing that's changed is Job Train has grown our physical footprint in this community, and the EAC model has helped us to do that in 3 of these locations. But you can see of our 9 locations, 7 of them are in San Mateo County, 1 including being at Maple Street Correctional Institution, working with inmates to help them get ready for release. And then there's a whole series of programs that will be here in the county for them and others when they come out of incarceration. On this map, if you look at the top of it, the North San Mateo County Economic Advancement Center, that's the EAC. Then to the left and down, we now have a program in the Coast Side. So we have the Half Moon Bay Opportunity Center for the Coast Side. And then just near our headquarters there, we have the North Fair Oaks Economic and Employment Center. I'm going to say a little more about these, but these are a major shift in the way that we provide services in the county, and very much through partnership with the county. But let me say a little bit about the fact that it works. One of the things that I've been with Job Train for 8 years. We're 60 years old now. I can tell you as a workforce development professional that these outcomes that Job Train is producing are best in class. It doesn't get better, which means San Mateo County has a terrific resource in your grips right now around this idea of fighting poverty through wage earning strategies. In fiscal 24, last year is fiscal 25. We just finished. We don't have the final numbers yet, but in fiscal 24, we served many, many clients. I promise in fiscal 25, that's going to be a higher number. You can see we have a very high rate of completion in our very rigorous career training programs. And I didn't check my time. Somebody's going to have to help me because I can go on and I don't want to be over time here. But let me just say this, these programs are working and they're serving the very people that we set out to serve 60 years ago. But we have to ask the question, and we're constantly asking the question, when is job training not just job training? And the reality is that it has to be a model for this new economy. And jobs are changing, the economy is changing, people's lives are changing and what they need. And as an organization that is here to provide supports to and help members of our community, we have to constantly be thinking about what that means and what it looks like. And we have created this graphic that is our new vision and the place that we live in this new vision for economic mobility for our community. And I will simply say this, that center span is where programs like Job Train have always lived. You have to be stable enough to be able to get to our programs, and once you're in your new career, we're done with you. Job Train's new model is to say, let's get to people who are not yet stable enough for these programs and help those stabilize, and let's stay with the graduates after they've graduated and help them on their upward mobility. So one of the things we've done is stood up now these EACs, and a couple of things I just want to point out to you. They are place-based. They are in low-income places where the people who live there really need us to be there with them. It is not just Job Train in these programs. We're with the Renaissance Entrepreneurship Center, in some cases the YMCA, the Promotores, the Chamber of Commerce in Half Moon Bay. They're partnership sites. but they're place-based doorways into all of these programs and designed to support low-income communities, and very importantly, curated for that community. We all do lots of great things, but what the community needs is what we have to learn how to bring to them. The fact is that these programs are designed to be what each community needs and where they need it, and boy, is it working. We've recently had some third-party evaluations done on our work, and I want to clarify that these numbers here are only job trains numbers in these centers. You can easily double them in terms of trying to understand the number of people total that have been served by these centers. But we are serving clients. If you look at that number of services delivered, when we serve a client, average clients are getting 4 or 5 services per client. That is a lot of engagement. It's a lot of human interaction, and it takes that for people to move ahead. I also want to say that the number of clients served, they aren't only there to get a job. A lot of people are there to get supports and help that they need, but we are, for about 60% of them, they are there for a job, and we're having great work, great success in getting those placements, and the average wages are outstanding given that we've provided no training to these folks other than the learning how to get a job and helping them to do that. I'll leave you with one thing that I think is really important. The third-party evaluation that we did really comprehended that what we're doing in these EACs is something different, that we're bringing a more than one resource physically to a community so it's easy for clients to access them, and when they walk in the door, they're actually getting helped, and the outcomes are really proving out. The third-party evaluation said that for the $2,500 to $4,000 per client that is spent on these clients in these centers, there's a $20,000 to $60,000 per year return on that investment in changes in tax, when the taxes that they're paying and the benefits they no longer need. So this is a model that needs more attention. So I'll leave you with the question, when is a model not a model? And for us, and in this moment, it's when it's a movement in motion. That is very much what we're doing here. It is not done. We have a lot of work to do, but I can say, in partnership with Emma and Justin, in partnership with Shireen and some of the other folks that are in this bigger movement with us, we are on it. And there's a really good chance that what we're doing is something that's going to want to be picked up in a lot of other places when we show how it can really happen. So thank you for your partnership.
Great, thank you so much. Are there any board member comments? Yes, Supervisor Spear.
Thank you, Mr. President. As always, thank you for the extraordinary work that you do. The New York Times this week had an article about how computer science graduates are working as baristas because there are no more computer science jobs for entry level because of AI. What are you doing anticipating what the jobs of the future are going to be in this region, and to what extent are you coordinating your design modeling with the local chambers of commerce?
So we're not working very closely with the chambers, Supervisor Spear. I will say that it's an interesting concept, and if you have a particular idea that I could pull on the thread, I'd like to do that. I will say that the way we're thinking about AI today is a couple of things. First of all, technology is something that usually low-income communities are left behind. They're very slow to catch up to changes in technology. AI is one that does not have to be the case. And so one of the things we're doing is we're creating and will bring workshops to the community so we can arm community members with being able to use and comprehend AI. So that's one thing. The jobs that we're focusing on: construction trades, healthcare, culinary arts, and property management. IT is going to change, but we don't see most of these careers changing dramatically in terms of number of openings and the function of the job. They'll just need to be uplifted by AI. Where there are going to be new jobs for AI, here's an opportunity for our communities, for the communities we serve, because AI is going to be a thing you have to know, and whether you have a computer science degree or not, having skill in AI is going to be there. So we're trying to understand what that looks like. We have great resources on our board of directors. We're very tuned into the labor force. It's not clear yet, but we're going to do our best to be there when it becomes clear.
Okay. I look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
That.
Great. Supervisor Gaucher.
Barry, thank you for the report. We've been working with Job Train for some, don't break anything, Barry. 581 job placements, that is good news. How do you track those members once they've been placed? What is the role of Job Train with those individuals that have been placed in jobs?
So in the career centers, those job placements in the career centers or the EACs are open market jobs that we're helping people tool up for, get their resumes cleaned up and practice their interviews and settle on some things in their way. Those clients we are, especially because Emma and Justin have been very, very strong on let's find out how sticky these jobs are. We are tracking those clients, but they're very, very hard to stay in touch with. So we don't have great data. The data we do have is people are keeping the job or coming back to us and getting a second job if the first one doesn't work out. On the career training and education side, that's a job placement that we're able to do a lot more ongoing tracking of persistence and so on and help them move up. So to the different models are taking a different approach. We are trying to stay in touch. It's just very, very complicated to do that. But again, to the extent that we do know, because we're getting responses, stickiness is there, the retention is there.
Thank you. And then my other question is going to go back to HR1 bill. We know that there are going to be work requirements for some families. Are you thinking about how you could fill the gap for that population as well?
For the immigrant population?
Not the immigrant
No?
population, but when it comes to federal money and benefits, some people are going to, there's a work requirement that's going to be included in the big bill. So
Yeah.
what are you thinking about helping that population that may need the assistance the most?
Well, of course, that's what we do. That's what we do every day is help people get jobs. So I anticipate that when these requirements come in place, we're going to have more people coming to us looking for help with that. And we're already at capacity. So it's really going to be, can we streamline our processes? Can we create more efficiency? And to some extent, can we increase our capacity? But it's not just people who need jobs to keep their benefits. It's going to be more people are going to lose their jobs. There are fewer benefits to get. It's going to be an interesting time. We're really trying to understand, Supervisor Gaucher, we're really trying to understand what might happen and be ready. But you know as well as I do how complicated it's going to be.
No, thank you. And that just goes to the point of those individuals who are losing their jobs. We know that Stanford laid off 300 recently. And I don't know if those are the same people that would come to Job Train, but just being very thoughtful of what this economy looks like and the fact that people are losing their jobs and how we can be supportive.
And the more we can be in places where those people are, like we've done here in San Mateo County, the more likely we'll be able to help them. They'll know about us and we can help them.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Any additional questions or comments? Supervisor Corso.
I want to thank you as well for the presentation and for the work that Job Train does, not only in supporting folks that are looking for better opportunities, but also just our broader community. I think our county does really well in economic vibrancy, but there are ways to improve and really finding that sweet spot where we can find pathways for people with the realities of AI, with the reality, I probably like a couple of days ago, I was looking at a couple of our local largest employers, their websites, looking at career opportunities. And it's true, I saw almost zero entry-level positions. And that's something that I think we as leaders can really touch on when we are approached by these kinds of companies. We can remind them that we need to create pathways for people in our community. And so thank you for working to find opportunities for people.
Yeah, thank you.
I just wanted to say thank you as well. I also wanted to encourage you. And I know that in the everyone wants to talk about their successes, there is a concern, as has been expressed by my colleagues that we've talked about in this meeting and prior, that the economy is headed toward a very rough patch. And I really want to encourage you to share the challenges that you're facing as an organization over time and not see those as failures you're sharing with us, but rather letting us know what those problems are because you are on the ground trying to find and get people placed. And if it's getting harder and getting more challenging and there are things that are happening, sharing that information with us is going to help us be able to address the overriding policies that's happening there.
Yeah, thank you for that perspective. We really are on the ground. We really are. We are ground zero when it comes to a lot of the things that are happening here. So I really appreciate your recognition of that. And I want you to know that I know the nonprofit sector, our currency is trust. And you will always get a straight shot from me on that. And I appreciate the invitation to talk more about where things are tough and where we're experiencing challenges. I'll bring that to you. Thank you.
Barry, just really want to thank you. Supervisor Pine had really worked hard in South San Francisco. I want to applaud you for, you historically have been really focused on South County. But I'm pleased to see sort of how you've grown into North County. And I think with the, the Economic Advancement Center, it really does make a difference. I think Job Train's partnership with the state of California is truly impressive. We expect a lot from these nonprofits, right? We expect so much from them, right? And usually when contraction happens, and if I had a nickel for every time I heard some sort of big corporation would, donate money. I've been doing this for over 20 years, and you rarely see that. And on occasion, you do. But a lot of this work is subsidized by federal, state, local government, and through donations, right? And I think what I learned from the pandemic, and thank you so much, Ileana, for uplifting and highlighting that time was extraordinarily difficult.
It was.
And what we were able to do creatively through our CBOs, our nonprofits, government leaders, is that we were really able to lean in.
Yep.
And that funding, which is so critically important, was there to support the work.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that we're starting to see, to be quite frank with you, is because of certain contractions relative to finances that were given to us from our federal and state partners, is that some of these nonprofits are struggling.
Yep.
And I think what I recognize is, when you do have support, and the county, when you look at the core, what is the county's function? What is the county's business? Well, we're the social safety net provider, right? And so local government, county government in particular, has a role. But I just really want to uplift your work and all that you've done. And so with that, do we have public comment?
Thank you, Mr. President. I don't have any speakerships from chambers, so Madam Clerk, please proceed.
On Zoom, please click raise hand to comment on item 3, the update on job train. One hand raised from April Vargas. Yep. April, please unmute and begin.
Oh, hi. I'm in the middle of doing work now. Are we talking about the Citizens Advisory Committee for an Inspector General, or have we moved on?
Yeah,
that item has passed.
Ms. Vargas, thank you so much. No, we had heard that item already, and now we're on to informational item on job train.
Okay, I apologize. Thank you.
No
Bye.
need to apologize. Thank you, though.
No further speakers, Mr. President.
All right. Hey, thank you so much.
Through the chair, can
Yes.
I just acknowledge my colleague, Larry Moody,
Oh.
who's with Job Train as well, who's in the audience. Larry does a lot of great work in the region. He is a great ambassador for Job Train, and you're very lucky to have him.
I know it. I know it. I just want to close by saying that during the pandemic, I had the pleasure of sitting on the San Mateo County Recovery Council and on the Santa Clara County's table as well. And San Mateo County knocked it out of the ballpark. And that same group that did that has changed its purpose now to be the Shared Prosperity Coordinating Council. And I just want you to feel really confident that this county is in good hands with that body. We're understanding the needs, and we're going to deliver as much as we can on what this community needs.
Well,
So thank you.
No, thank you. That's fantastic to hear. Colleagues, we are at about 11:42. My plan for lunch, and I think these items are going to move a little bit faster, is to adjourn. To adjourn into closed session at about 12:30. So with that, we will move on to item number 4. And so with item 4, we are acting as the governing board of the Oak Knoll Sewer Maintenance District and conducted a public hearing regarding annexation of property to Oak Knoll Sewer Maintenance District lands of how would you pronounce that? Yurgoluku
Well, I know the address,
and
731
Parker.
Esther.
This item is brought to us by our Public Works Department.
Thank you. Good morning, President Canaba, honorable members of the board, Ms. Rodriguez, and Mr. Niblin. This item is for a hearing in connection with the proposed annexation of 731 Esther Lane to the Oak Knoll Sewer Maintenance District, a county-governed sewer district. The district entered into an agreement with the City of Redwood City that allows for transport and treatment of sewage from the district. The agreement also allows the district to provide sewer service to properties that are adjacent to district-owned and operated facilities with consent of the city. The property considered for annexation is adjacent to district-owned and operated facilities. The property owners have requested that the property be annexed to the district, and the city has consented to the annexation by adopting a resolution to that effect. A hearing to consider the annexation of the property into the district is required pursuant to the Health and Safety Code. This board previously adopted a resolution on June 10th setting the hearing for this board meeting. The property owners have paid or will pay all fees necessary for annexation. Staff recommends approval of this annexation, and that concludes my presentation.
Thank you so much,
Available for
Ms.
questions.
Stillman. Do any of my colleagues have questions for Ms. Stillman before we move to the public hearing? With unanimous consent, we will now open the public hearing. Do I have unanimous consent? Thank you so much for the unanimous consent. The public hearing is now open. Could I ask the clerk to please see if anyone wishes to be heard?
Thank you, Mr. President. For the unanimous consent, Supervisor Mueller is absent, just for the record. I don't have any speakerships from chambers, so Madam Clerk, please proceed.
Public hearing open for item 4 on Zoom. Please click raise hand regarding Oak Knoll annexation of property. Final call, public hearing, public comment, item 4. No hands raised, Mr. President.
Thank you so much. I'll now ask for unanimous consent to close the public hearing. Thank you so much for that guidance. The public hearing is closed. Are there any comments or questions from my colleagues? If not, can I get a motion on this item? Roll call, please.
Sure. Supervisor Spear?
Aye.
Thank you, Supervisor Corzo.
Yes.
Supervisor Mueller is absent. Supervisor Gaucher?
Yes.
And President Canapa.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes with Supervisor Mueller being absent.
Thank you so much. We'll now move to item 5. We are acting as the governing board of County Service Area 8 and conducting a public hearing to adopt the garbage and recyclables collection service charges report, approve the submittal of the garbage and recyclables collection, and additional items within that. With us, we have Director of Public Works.
No, I'm the Special Districts Program Manager.
Are you Lizzie?
Yes, I'm Lizzie.
All right, Lizzie. Go ahead.
All right, good morning, President Canapa, honorable members of the board, Ms. Spear, Ms. Gaucher, Ms. Corzo, and Mr. Mueller. My name's Lizzie Crod. I'm the Special Districts Program Manager with the Sustainability Department. Our department director is unable to join today as she's out of town, so I'm presenting the item before you. We're bringing forward adoption of the Garbage and Recyclables Collection Service Charges Report for County Service Area Number 8. Say that 5 times fast. For North Fair Oaks for fiscal year 2025-26. This board adopted garbage and recycling rates on January 14th of this year for North Fair Oaks. This item today takes those rates and adds them to the tax roll for properties with residential dwelling units in North Fair Oaks. This is a procedural process that occurs annually. Next slide, please. As I mentioned, adoption of this report is part of an annual procedural process to place the minimum level of garbage and recycling collection services charges for residential dwellings onto the property tax roll in CSA 8. Per County Ordinance Code, any parcel that has up to 4 residential dwelling units in CSA 8 is charged with a minimum level of garbage service, which is 2 32-gallon carts or 1 64-gallon cart. This minimum charge is based upon units on the parcel and is multiplied by the rates adopted by this board in January of this year. The charge is then placed on the tax roll in accordance with County Ordinance Code. After the opening and closing of the public hearing, the next step is for this board to consider adoption of the resolution for the collection charges report. If adopted, the collection charges report will be filed with the Controller's Office, and the Controller's Office will apply the charge amounts to the tax assessment roll for CSA 8 for fiscal year 2025-26. Next slide, please. So today, we request that you open the public hearing, close the public hearing, and adopt the recommended resolution that adopts the Garbage and Recyclables Collection Service Charges Report for County Service Area Number 8, North Fair Oaks, for fiscal year 2025-26, approves the submittal of the report for County Service Area Number 8 with the County Controller by the Director of the Sustainability Department, authorizes the Director of the Sustainability Department to refund any overcharges resulting from data entry, or computation errors, and authorizes the clerk to file the report. Thank you for your time and consideration. At this time, I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you so much. Great presentation. Are there any questions?
Through the chair,
Yep.
thank you for your presentation, and I know we passed this early on. I'm always concerned when you have areas like North Fair Oaks, how are we communicating with the residents? There are some property owners versus residents that actually live there. What's the communication process?
Because there's two parts. In January, before the rates were adopted, because of Prop 218, we're required to send notices to the property owners. So Prop 218 notices were sent out to property owners. And then for this process today, we included 2 notices of the public hearing in the Redwood City Tribune newspaper. So folks who are in the area could know that there was a public hearing today about the rates, the adoption of the rates onto the placement of the rates onto the collection charges report.
No, thank you. I would love to revisit that at some point and make sure that the community is actually engaged. But
Yeah.
I know about this method. Can you talk a little bit also about the potential errors? How many errors do we typically see in the billing?
How many errors?
Errors. Yes.
In the last.
What's the percentage?
Yeah, in the last 5 fiscal years, looking back as far as we could, we had 0. So since fiscal year 2020-2021, we have not had any errors.
Thank you. And then how does the county work with Recology just to ensure that the billing is accurate?
So the billing that's placed on the collection charges report is just for the minimum level of service required by the ordinance code. So we ensure that every parcel has the minimum level of service per dwelling unit.
Sure.
So that's just based on the parcel data we have from the assessor's office. Any additional billing that's done by Recology is done directly with the customer.
Okay. But thank you for this, and I will definitely support it.
All right. Thank you so much, Supervisor Gaucher. Seeing that there aren't any comments, can I have a motion, or do I have approval to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Great. And I have unanimous consent on that. Through the clerk, do we have any public comment?
Thank you, Mr. President. No speaker subs from chambers for item number 5. So, Madam Clerk, please proceed.
Resume open now for public hearing, item 5 on County Service Area Number 8, North Fair Oaks. Please click raise hand to comment. Final call for Zoom comments, public hearing, item 5. No hands raised, Mr. President.
Great. Do I have unanimous consent to close the public hearing? Thank you for the unanimous consent. The public hearing is closed. Supervisor Gaucher, this is in your district. Would you like to introduce the item?
I would like to make a motion to approve this item, acting as the governing board of the county for service area number 9.
Number
will
8.
Approve the
Thank you.
Number 8.
Number 8. Thank you. Approval.
I think she said number 8. So we'll. There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, I'll take the roll call. Supervisor Spear.
Aye.
Thank you. Supervisor Corzo.
Yes.
Thank you. Supervisor Mueller. Yes. Thank you. Supervisor Gaucher.
Yes.
Thank you. Supervisor Canepa.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes unanimously.
Lizzie, I want to thank you and our team in sustainability. You guys do great work. We're lucky to have you, and appreciate all the effort, okay?
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
All right, item 6, which we'll now move to item 6, which is adopting a resolution authorizing approval and amendment to the memorandum of understanding with law enforcement. And oh, good, we're already to the recommendation. Rocio.
Good morning, President, members of the board, Ms. Rodriguez, Mr. Niblin. I'm Rocio Kirkson, HR Director. It's great to be with you. As your board is aware, we currently have agreements with several labor groups, including the Law Enforcement Unit, or LEU, which is the non-SWOR unit represented by the Deputy Sheriff's Association. This unit has historically included 8 classifications, and most recently on June 12th, they added 2 additional classifications: community services officers and forensic autopsy technicians. Prior to this, the 2 classifications were part of AFSCME. After meeting and conferring with LEU, today we are requesting your board's approval and amending the current agreement with LEU to include a side letter allowing for the 2 new classifications to receive the same retiree health benefits that all other members in this unit receive. While LEU's retiree health plan is similar to AFSCME, which includes a retiree health savings account and monthly benefit amounts based on years of service upon retirement, it does offer additional retiree health tiers. The 2 classifications will have a cost share for this enhanced plan, which is consistent with the contributions made by all other LEU members. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Rocio. Are there any questions?
Yes, Mr.
Yes.
President. Do we ever have a discussion about this before you bring this to the board for action, or is this the time in which we would discuss the ramifications of something like this?
Thank you, Supervisor Spear. So typically, something like this does come before your board as part of closed session. So we have the discussion in terms of the package that we are offering the various unions. So we do bring it forward.
So this is going to include them in safety retirement or just safety health care?
This is the non-sworn, so non-safety. So this is the retiree health package that they will have, and it's consistent with, as I mentioned, consistent with the other LEU members.
And so there's been a robust review to determine that they should be in that classification versus the AFSCME classification. Because, you know, we've seen it throughout the county where you increase the safety retirement population,
Right.
and then we have cities now that are reeling from the costs of the retiree benefits. And we should be cognizant of that, certainly, but how much additional cost does this
Right.
add to the budget?
So absolutely, I agree with you, and we do a thorough review of this. And we initially, when we initially started bargaining with all the groups in terms of making any changes to their retiree health, we did agree that we would explore that. However, any changes that we made would need to be cost neutral. And so in this particular case, that is the case where it is cost neutral. And you'll note that the employees are covering, I think it's 8.8%, so a little bit under 1%. So it is cost neutral, and absolutely recognize your concerns, and that is something that we are mindful of.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. Are there any additional questions? It's always good when it's cost neutral, isn't it? Makes it a lot easier. Do we have any public comment?
Thank you, Mr. President. No speakerships for item number 6. Madam Clerk, please proceed.
Public on Zoom, please click raise hand for item 6, an MOU for law enforcement unit. No hands raised, Mr. President.
Great. Can I get a motion on this item? Thank you.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Sure. Supervisor Spear?
Aye.
Thank you. Supervisor Corzo?
Yes.
Supervisor Mueller? Supervisor Gaucher?
Yes.
And President Canepa?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. We're now on to item 7 from Public Works, which introduced an ordinance amending sections 2.55.030 and 2.55040 and adding sections 2.55050 to Chapter 2.55 of Title II of the San Mateo County Ordinance Code to update California Public Contract Code, procedures and cost thresholds. Thank you, David Silberman. Ann Stillman, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Good morning. All right, I am here to, as you said, introduce what it was that you just said. But first, it is a mouthful, I get it. But it's very simple, actually. How's that? So first off is amending section 2.55.030, competitive bidding on construction or repair contracts when required, amending section 2.55.04 regarding informal bidding ordinance, and adding section 2.55.05, which would allow for adjustment as changes are made to the California Public Contract Code. Just quickly going through this, the California Public Contract Code, section 22030 et sec, provides public agencies with certain procedures regarding bidding and contracting of construction projects. And effective January 1st, 2025, Assembly Bill 2192 updated the California Public Contract Code and increased cost thresholds for certain projects that would be performed by employees procured under informal bidding procedures or by formal bidding procedures. In 1994, this board adopted a resolution authorizing the county to become subject to the Uniform Construction Cost Accounting Procedures pursuant to the California Public Contract Code. We have in the San Mateo County Ordinance Code, Title 2, Chapter 2.55 discusses these procedures and codifies procedures that are consistent with the California Public Contract Code. These procedures are subject to revisions as the Public Contract Code is modified. And we need to update the project values that are included in our ordinance code as they took effect January 1st, 2025. And that is what this action is really about. This is a table that shows the existing ordinance code numbers for formal bidding procedures, informal bidding procedures, and force account labor in-house projects. Our existing ordinance code thresholds are listed here. The proposed thresholds are on the right-hand side of the table and consistent with the California Public Contract Code. You can see that in all instances they have increased. The threshold has increased somewhat. When it comes to section 2.55.040, informal bidding ordinance, these thresholds have also been modified in the California Public Contract Code, so we are proposing modifications to our ordinance code to be consistent with those. And then the last part of our recommendation is adding section 2.55.050, which would allow for adjustments to be made as the state increases or modifies the California Public Contract Code and the limits that I just suggested. This would give us then the ability to utilize the higher thresholds if they are increased without necessarily taking action to amend our county ordinance code at that specific time frame. Just this proposed ordinance, the modifications do not impact or change the board's discretionary authority to approve projects and appropriate project funding pursuant to other applicable county policies and procedures. It does not circumvent other established California Public Contract Code procedures. These modifications will conform the county ordinance code to the California Public Contract Code, and the department recommends adoption of the proposals that we have before you, and it promotes statewide uniformity with cost accounting standards and creates greater transparency for those entities wishing to do business with the county. And that concludes my presentation, and I am available if you have any questions.
Busy day today. Are there any questions? Great. I'm seeing none. Is there public comment, Mr. Clerk?
Thank you, Mr. President. No public comment for item number 7. So, Madam Clerk, please proceed.
Those on Zoom, please click raise hand for item 7 for the introduction of the competitive bidding ordinance. No hands raised, Mr. President.
Thank you so much. Can I get a motion on this item?
So moved.
Roll call, please. Thank you.
Sure. Supervisor Spear?
Aye.
Thank you. Supervisor Corzo?
Yes.
Supervisor Mueller? Supervisor Gaucher?
Yes.
And President Canepa?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes unanimously.
Great. Are you back again?
Yes, I am.
Ms. Stillman. Go ahead, Ms.
It,
Stillman.
it takes longer to talk about it than it does to think about what to, than to prepare, shall I say. All right, thank you. This is the introduction of ordinances to reduce the speed limit in school zones on portions of Spring Street near Redwood City, City of Redwood City, and also Camino al Lago by the town of Atherton. So this map is to give you some orientation to Spring Street and what I'm speaking about. The limits that I will be discussing with you today regarding speed limits is on Spring Street from Willow Street to 2nd Avenue. And you can see this area outlined in the red hatch marks. Next would be, yes, a lot of arrows on the screen. The dashed arrows, or the lines with dashed arrows, are depicting roads that are managed, or portions of roads that are managed by the City of Redwood City. And then the purple areas are County of San Mateo, unincorporated area roads. And these are depicting the just different segments of Spring Street. And you'll see that from Willow to Douglas on Spring Street, half of the road is maintained by the County of San Mateo, and the other half is maintained by the City of Redwood City. And then from Douglas to 2nd Avenue is County of San Mateo maintained roads. The existing speed limits on the purple segments of the roadways are 35 miles an hour as they exist today and in our ordinance code. And what we are proposing is to modify the speed limits in the county unincorporated areas. So what you're seeing on your screen would be the green arrows are where we're proposing 25 mile an hour speed limit, and the red solid arrow is where we're proposing 25 mile speed limit, but 15 mile an hour while children are present. This is really coming about because the City of Redwood City worked to evaluate the roads near their schools within 500 feet or 1,000 feet of their schools, and came up with recommendations on roads where they recommended lowering the speed limit to 50 miles an hour when children are present. So Spring Street, their recommendation was for the entire roadway. Of course, we have half of the roadway, so to be consistent with what Redwood City was doing, and after we evaluated their study, we agreed that proposing 50 mile an hour within 500 feet of the school made sense. The limits are outlined from Spring Street, from Willow Street to 140 feet east of K9 Street. We would recommend 50 miles an hour. And this also points out what we will be working on and dealing with when it comes to roads where we have shared jurisdictional boundaries. It's really important to be working with the adjacent agencies so that when people drive on a roadway, they have consistent speed limits on both sides of the roadway instead of just one. Moving on to the area near the town of Atherton. This is Camino al Lago. So what's outlined in the dashed is Camino al Lago from Barney to Alameda de las Pulgas. And what you'll see here is the red dashed line is the town of Atherton's portion of Camino al Lago. They evaluated the schools in their jurisdiction, recommend 50 mile an hour while children are present on that segment. And we have the other side of Camino al Lago on those same boundaries as shown. What we're recommending here also is to set the speed limit at 15 miles an hour when children are present. That will make it consistent on both sides of the roadways. We have seen the work that the town of Atherton went through and agree with their study and their findings and are making this recommendation. And that concludes my presentation for today, but one of the things that we did include in our board report was just giving the board an update that we are also looking at the schools in the unincorporated areas of the County of San Mateo. There's at least 180 schools that we're looking at. The study is to be completed by February 2026. So I assume, although this is the first time that I'm presenting this item to your board regarding 50 miles an hour while children are present, there probably will be more in the near future. And that concludes my presentation.
That's excellent to hear. Are there any questions? Yes.
Through the chair, not not a question, but a comment, and thank you for the report. But I would also just, following Supervisor Corzo's message about distracted driving, if we're doing something with speed limits by schools, we really need people to put down the devices when they're driving so that we can have a safe county. But thank you for the presentation.
I agree.
All right. Public comment.
Thank you, Mr. President. No public comment from chambers for this item, so Madam Clerk, please proceed.
Move adoption.
Those on Zoom, please click raise hand to comment for item 8, introduction of ordinances for speed limits.
Thank you. There is no public comment, is there?
No hands are raised, Mr. President.
Thank you, sir. There's a motion on the table by Supervisor Spear, second by Gaucher. Roll call, please.
For A and B.
For A and B.
That's right. Thank you. Supervisor Spear?
Aye.
Thank you. Supervisor Corzo?
Yes.
Supervisor Miller? Yes. Supervisor Gaucher?
Yes.
And President Canepa?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes unanimously.
Great. That brings us to, thank you, Ann. That brings us to item 9, Supervisor Corzo.
Thank you so much. Give me 1 second here. Here we go. This resolution is an amendment to a pre-existing Measure K District 2 discretionary grant. I want to thank the board for considering this amendment. Last December, the San Mateo County Health Foundation received approval of this grant to help patients pay for copays and prescription drug costs and fund important take-home medical equipment. It also funded temporary recuperative housing for patients and emergency rental assistance. This is an amendment to move some of those funds because the use was different than expected. And so I respectfully request approval from the board on this item. Thank you.
All right. Great job. Thank you. Is there any comments? Seeing none. Public comments.
Thank you, Mr. President. No speakers for item number 9 from chambers, so Madam Clerk, please proceed.
Those on Zoom, please click raise hand for District 2 Measure K item 9 for San Mateo County Health Foundation. No hands raised, Mr. President.
Great. Will the maker of the...
Yes, so moved. Move approval of item.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Sure. And that was Supervisor Spear, right?
Aye.
Second? Okay, thank you. Supervisor Spear?
Aye.
Supervisor Corzo?
Yes.
Thank you. Supervisor Miller? Yes. Thank you. Supervisor Gaucher?
Yes.
And President Canepa?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you very much. We're off to item 10, adopt a resolution authorizing a one-time grant of district discretionary Measure K funds not to exceed $75,000 the city of Daly City for the second annual Top of the Hill Street Festival. It's my pleasure to bring forward this Measure K funding request, one that centers equity by supporting community, culture, and commerce in a way that directly benefits our lower income and diverse neighborhoods here in San Mateo County. Today, I'm proud to sponsor a resolution authorizing a grant of up to $75,000 to the city of Daly City for the second annual Top of the Hill Festival, taking place on Saturday, October 18th, 2025. This festival is more than just a celebration. This is an intentional investment in equity, economic vitality, and cultural pride in the Top of the Hill area, a neighborhood that reflects Daly City's rich diversity and working class roots. Top of the Hill sits within the Mission Street corridor, a community that has historically experienced underinvestment, but continues to demonstrate extraordinary resilience, energy, and entrepreneurial spirit. This Measure K grant helps ensure that families, small businesses, and local artists, many of whom come from immigrant and low-income backgrounds, are centered in our county's revitalization efforts. Daly City has long worked to revitalize this corridor, most recently with zoning changes that open up the door to a more vibrant and walkable future. But true community development goes beyond the infrastructure and must elevate the voices, culture, and aspirations of those who already call this place home. That's where this festival shines. The Top of the Hill Festival embodies equitable placemaking. It brings people together across cultures, supports local entrepreneurs and food vendors, and creates inclusive public spaces where everyone feels they belong. Last year's event drew more than 10,000 attendees, a clear sign that community is eager for connection, celebration, and opportunity. This year, we're building on that momentum with an even more inclusive and expansive event. one that not only increases visibility for small immigrant-owned businesses, but also helps keep economic activity rooted in the neighborhood where it's most needed. This is a smart, equity-driven investment in one of our most vibrant and diverse communities, and I'm honored to support it. Colleagues, are there any comments?
I would just like to point out that this is a 100% increase over the commitment that was made by this board last year. And again, it's for a specific area in the district, not countywide, so I will not support it.
Thank you so much. Do we have any public comment?
Thank you, Mr. President. No speakers from chambers for item number 10. Madam Clerk, please proceed.
Public comment now, please raise your hand for item 10, District 5, Measure K item to the City of Daly City. No hands raised, Mr. President.
Seeing no public comments, I'll make the motion to adopt the resolution authorizing a one-time grant district discretionary Measure K funds not to exceed $75,000 to the City of Daly City for the second annual Top of the Hill Street Festival. And that's my
Second.
motion. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Sure. Supervisor Spear?
No.
Thank you. Supervisor Corzo?
Yes.
Supervisor Mueller? Yes. Supervisor Gaucher?
Yes.
And President Canepa?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes with Supervisor Spear casting your nay vote.
Great. Thank you very, very much. We're now off to item 11, which is our last item. It's a resolution affirming the county's commitment to preventing youth nitrous oxide abuse and directing the county executive's office to have prepared an ordinance banning the sale and distribution of nitrous oxide and to explore other actions that further protect youth from nitrous oxide abuse. This is sponsored by Supervisor Mueller and myself. Supervisor Mueller, do you want to make any comments?
Well, I just want to say first, thank you, President Canepa, and thank you, Supervisor Corzo. I know this is something initially that was going to come from the both of you. I want to thank the Youth Commission for working on this. This issue rose to my attention both from occurrences within my district. Recently I was at an event in San Carlos, a community event, and I was approached by a woman who said her best friend had lost their son to nitrous addiction. I think this is just a wonderful thing that we're doing this. The way that nitrous is being sold in our county that's been brought to my attention is really scary. It's being marketed in a way where it is being glamorized for youth. You can go into stores. It's in all sorts of different flavors. It's being sold with balloons. It's crazy. And I'm just so glad that this board that this resolution has been brought forward today. And I cannot wait to get it on the agenda to ban it. And I also want to make it clear to folks out there that this is not going to be the last item I want to bring to the board this way. Kratom has reared its head in our county in a big way. It's a very addictive substance. The state legislature has looked at whether or not it's going to regulate it, has been involved in that some time, but we need to get our arms around that as well. Other reports that are coming about how that is affecting youth and people in the community as well is very dangerous. Cities like San Diego have already banned it. And so thank you, Supervisor Canepa. Thank you, Supervisor Corzo, and thank you to the Youth Commission for your work on this.
Great. Thank you so much. This is really, when you think about it, it's youth-driven. And I'm just extraordinarily proud of our Youth Commission and their proactivity on this issue. And so I'm going to ask, before I make my comments, I'd like Diego and Helen to step up to say a few words on the importance of this.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mateo Garcia, and I'm a resident of the city of San Mateo, a student at the College of San Mateo, which is quite a coincidence, and a member of the county's Youth Commission.
If you could speak into the mic a little bit. Yeah.
I'm here today on behalf of the Youth Commission to present my support for this resolution. Earlier this year, the county's Behavioral Health and Recovery Services, also known as BHRS, provided the Youth Commission with a presentation on their current concerns facing the youth of our county. During this presentation, a certain topic resonated with me, which was nitrous oxide abuse. This was a substance that I knew others my age were using, and I knew it had a dangerous level of accessibility in our community. Often disguised as a whipped cream dispenser, popular brands such as Galaxy Gas have found a loophole that allows minors to easily get their hands on an addictive substance with long-term chronic health effects, both physical and mental. These items are being sold in smoke shops, often to minors without age verification. According to a 2022 survey from the U.S. Government Center for Behavioral Health Statistics and Quality, 13.9 million Americans over the age of 12, or 4.9% of the U.S. population, have misused nitrous oxide. Our new policy includes preventative measures such as requiring a 21-year-old age verification for purchase, requiring a permit for sale, and banning flavored nitrous oxide products. This resolution represents a strong step towards protecting youth in San Mateo County from the dangerous and irreversible health effects associated with nitrous oxide abuse. Looking forward, the Youth Commission advocates for stronger measures to address this issue and supports pursuing a comprehensive ban on the sale of nitrous oxide products within the county.
Great. Thank you so much, Diego. Are there any comments, Mateo, are there any comments from the board?
Well done, Diego.
Mateo, as in San Mateo.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming and representing the Youth Commission. I remember when we had interviews for appointments, I remember you as a candidate, and I'm excited to see that you've been able to bring something to the board, and I believe we will be supporting it. But I think it just speaks to the power of youth voice. Mm-hmm. To be quite honest, I have a 14-year-old. He's entering high school now. I have never even heard. I pride myself, like I'm a younger mom to a 14-year-old, you know, and I just had never heard of this, and it's really scary. And so I want to thank you all for elevating something that's really a big issue in your age group. So appreciate that.
Great. Thank you so much. First of all, I really, Helen, thank you and the commission. This is really, there's an issue around whippets, right? And we know that. And kids' access to whippets, and not even that, but what it does for adults as well, right? It's just really, I think about a friend of mine who was the CEO of Zappos, and the destruction that whippet can have on family members. You can really, really spiral out of control. And it's sad, really sad, what this does to destroy families and destroy people's lives. And I think what Supervisor Mueller and I are clearly trying to do, and I think we're interested in our next agenda, is making sure that we move forward with a ban. And August 26th, I think, is hopefully, if we're successful today, I think we might be, but it's to really crack down on this. We'd be joining Orange County and other counties and making sure that this ban is in effect. And I think when you look at, and I don't take a ban lightly, I really don't. When you look at this on its merits, I think this is really a public health issue. And as we know, and I know Supervisor Mueller has been working with, there are stores in his district, there's stores in my district in the northern end of the county, and this is being abused. And so we have not only a moral and social responsibility to enact legislation, but we really need to inform people of these adverse consequences. And so as we move forward with this ordinance, I'll work with the co-sponsor. One of the things that I'd like staff to look into, not at this time, but it was really sort of the outreach component to the youth. And I know we've done that specifically around cannabis. And so I'm very, very happy. I'm very proud of the commission moving this forward. I'm proud at the research that the commission has done, the discipline. It took literally, I think, 8 months or maybe longer. And so I'm very, very proud of what you've done. And so with that, we will take public comment. Okay. Helen, would you like to say a couple words? Supervisor Spear. Supervisor Spear, I think Helen, you don't want to speak at this time, but you'll have a written report for us later. Okay. Thank you. And so with that, we'll go to public comment.
Thank you, Mr. President. No speakers for item number 11, so Madam Clerk, please proceed.
Public comment on Zoom, please click raise hand for item 11, affirming commitment to prevent youth nitrous oxide abuse. No hands raised, Mr. President.
All right. With that, Supervisor Mueller, will you make the motion?
I'm proud to move. Thank you.
Second.
Great. Roll call, please.
Sure. Supervisor Spear? Thank you. Supervisor Corzo?
Yes.
Supervisor Mueller?
Yep.
Supervisor Gaucher?
Yes.
And President Canepa?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you very much. With that, we'll adjourn. Question for council. Will we be reporting out?
Unknown at this time.
Unknown at this
possible.
time. Okay. Thank you. And let me give a special shout out before we close to our environmental health professional, Heather Forche. It's great to see you back there, Heather. All right. With that, we will adjourn to closed session.
Thank you all. The board is currently in closed session and will resume shortly. Thank you. All right, Mr. President, we're back in open session. The time is now 1:28 p.m. and all the supervisors are present. Please proceed, Mr. President.
Thank you so much, Mr. Clerk. County Attorney Niblin.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to report out action taken by the board in closed session this afternoon. First, I'll report that the board unanimously approved joining in an amicus brief in connection with a matter pending in the United States District Court for the Western District of New York, U.S. v. Rochester. I also will report that the board, again on a 5-0 unanimous vote, approved as deemed appropriate by the county attorney and in consultation with appropriate staff, the initiation of litigation to abate a nuisance for business located at 3536 Alameda de las Pulgas in the unincorporated West Menlo Park area of the county. That's my report out.
Thank you so much. With that, we will adjourn. Thank you very much.
Thank you all. The time is now 1:29 p.m. and meeting is adjourned.